A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Jerry of the Circus. Jerry of the Circus.
Hi there, Jerry. Johnny Bradley was looking for you.
He was? Well, thanks. Come on, Ray. We better see what Mr. Bradley wants. Where was he?
He just passed this way. Came from the post office, I think. It looked like he was heading for the office wagon.
Okay, I'll try and find him. Come on, Ray. May as well walk that way as any other. Hi, Spike.
Good morning. What are you doing?
Heard Mr. Bradley wants to see me, so I'm looking for him. As a matter of fact, what you doing around here? Aren't you helping Murray put up the canvas?
I sure am. Murray sent me on an errand.
Yeah?
Yeah. We was all kidding back there, and he said I wasn't working hard enough, so he let me get the key to the main top this morning. I guess Red usually does that for him.
Key to the main top? I never heard of it.
Well, sure, so they can put up the canvas.
Well, that's a new one on me. Where is it? Did you get it? Well, what does it look like?
Well, I don't know. I never noticed it. Though I did hear Red saying something about it the other morning. Well, I'm on my way to the blacksmith's now. I guess I better hurry or Murray will bawl me out for wasting time.
I may drop around later. I want to see what it looks like. Golly, imagine being with the circus this long and never hearing about the key to the big top.
Well, you can't learn everything at once. Well, I'll be seeing you.
Yeah. Well, come on, Rex. Aw, gee, it's a swell day to be out, isn't it? I'll say it is. See, there's Mr. Bradley now heading for the office wagon. Hey, Mr. Bradley.
Yes? Oh, it's you, Jerry. Yeah, I was asking about you.
Yeah, that's what someone said. Did you want something?
Well, yes, but I hardly know how to tell you about it.
Say, it's nothing serious, is it?
I'm afraid it is, Jerry.
Well, I guess you'd better just come right out and tell me then. Like it wasn't important.
I hate to upset you, Jerry, but I hated to do anything about this without first telling you.
Me? Have I done something? Am I going to get in trouble about Splendor?
What do you mean?
You know, when I went into the ring last night and got hold of Splendor and wrote him out.
Oh, yes, of course. Oh, no, that's nothing to do with this. As a matter of fact, you did a pretty level-headed job with Splendor. We were talking about it at breakfast.
You were? Who is?
Mr. Randall and I.
Gee, you wasn't sore then?
I should say not. Far from it. You quite saved the day. It was a plucky thing to do.
Golly, I'm sure glad Mr. Randall thinks so, but it just seemed natural. I couldn't help it. Golly, you can't let a little coat like Splendor get into trouble, can you?
Indeed not.
Besides, Splendor sort of belongs to me. You know, I'm training him. Next to Rags, he's my best animal pal.
I'm ashamed of myself letting you talk just because I haven't the nerve to tell you what I've discovered.
Oh, of course. I forgot you were going to tell me something.
Jerry, you remember that picture we saw in the post office one day?
Picture? Oh, yeah, I remember. The post offering rewards for criminals?
That's it. You remember when you looked at one of them, you said he looked like someone you knew.
Yeah, I guess I did. He was an escaped convict or something, wasn't he?
Yes, Jerry, he was.
Well?
You remember me saying one night in the mess tent that I thought I knew who that man might be?
Yeah?
Well, Jerry, I'm now certain that that escaped convict is with this circus.
Oh, no, you can't mean it.
I'm afraid I do.
Oh, there must be some mistake, Mr. Bradley.
I wish there were. But I've just been to the post office in this town. It's the first time I've been able to find one of those pictures again.
Well, who do you think it is, Mr. Bradley?
I'm afraid it's your friend, Spike.
Oh, no, I'm sure you're wrong. Why, it just couldn't be.
Why not? Well, he's only just joined us. We don't know anything about him, except that this is the first time he's ever worked for a circus.
Yeah, I guess he did say that, but Mr. Bradley doesn't look like that man. That man's got a bald head.
No, that man's head was shaved, Jerry. They always do that to convicts in prison.
Yeah, but Spike's head isn't shaved.
How do you know? Have you seen it?
Well, I don't know, come to think of it. I guess I haven't. He's always got that old cap pulled down.
That's exactly it. He's got it pulled down so we can't see a huge scar, which is in the back of his left ear.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry, Jerry. I was afraid you'd be upset about this. I remember hearing you say you'd gotten him this job, and...
Yeah, I was kind of proud of him, but Mr. Bradley, gee, he almost saved my life. That time I nearly fell off a Splendor.
I know, son. Criminals can be brave men, too. But after all, it isn't safe to let them around loose. When a man is desperate enough to break jail, he's too desperate to allow around law-abiding citizens. Why, I'm afraid I'll have to report him.
That's why you're going into Mr. Randall's office, huh?
Yes, my boy. Now try not to be too upset about this, Jerry.
Gee, I hardly know what to say. Guess I'd better... Guess Rags and me'll take a little walk.
Yes, that's right. Take a nice long walk, and by the time you get back, this unpleasant business will be all over with.
You going to tell Mr. Randall?
Yes, Jerry. It's the best way to handle the situation.
Yeah. Well, guess Rags and me'll get going. Bye.
Goodbye, Jerry, and try not to feel too bad about this.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Come on, Rags. We're going for a walk. Golly, Rags, I don't know what to do. Gee, he's a friend of mine. And yours, too. Golly, what can we do? Well, we'll just hang around, and if we get a chance to talk to Spike, I think maybe we'd better say something. Hey, what's going on over there? That's funny. The miniball stopped working. That's not much like Mr. Murray. Golly, he keeps him at it till the canvas is all up. Someone else can't have found out about Spike.
He's a greenhorn, all right.
Yeah, 1st of May is right.
Oh, Murray.
Well, hello there, Jerry. Well, kid, you got here just too late. You missed one of the best 1st of May performances I've seen in a long time.
But this isn't a 1st of May.
You forget the boy's not much more than a 1st of Mayor himself.
Golly, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, that's all right, Jerry. The men have got to have their little joke.
Yeah, but the joke must have happened before I got here, the way everyone was laughing.
I'll say it did. It's about Spike.
Spike? Golly, it can't have happened yet.
It sure has. We got to initiate all our 1st of May men.
Gee, you people don't make sense. Murray, what do they mean by the 1st of May?
Well, you see, Jerry, when a fella joins the circus for the first time, he's a greenhorn or a 1st of May.
But why?
Well, the show starts out the 1st of May. So when an outsider comes into our business, we always call him the 1st of May. At least until he gets wised up to our ways.
Oh, I see. Yeah, guess I am still one. At least I'm still learning plenty around here. Golly, why... I didn't know until just a little while ago you had a key to the main tent.
Say, Jerry, how'd you find out about that?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a secret.
Don't let them kid you, Jerry, like they just kidded me.
Ah, Murray, what's this all about?
Well, you better get Spike to tell you.
What is it, Spike?
Well, I'll tell you, Jerry. These guys have all been ribbing me about that key to the main top.
How do you mean?
Well, you remember how I told you I was going over to the blacksmith for the key?
Yeah?
Well, when I got there, the blacksmith told me he had to do some more work on it, and he had to give it to the watchman, who was taking it to the handyman in the lot.
Golly, they kind of kept you chasing, didn't they?
I'll say they did. Well, I found the handyman, and he said he'd given it back to the watchman. Well, then I finally found him, and he said he'd taken it back to the blacksmith. And then the blacksmith said he just sent it over here. And I just got back now, and, well, that's why they're all laughing so.
Well, where is it? after all that fuss, I'd kind of like to see it myself. Say, what's so funny about that?
Well, that's just the point. I asked the same question, and there isn't any key.
What?
No, it's just an old circus gag to send a new guy around after a key to the main top.
Then there never was any key?
Well, I never saw it, but I sure looked hard for it when I was a punk and the older men sent me after it.
Me too, and they let me look for it for about 3 hours once.
Gee whiz, that sure is a good gag, all right.
Well, I'll say it is, even if I am the goat.
You're a good sport, Spike. The kind of fellows that we like to have around. Well, men, back to work.
Okay, boss.
All hands back to work. We got to make up for lost time. Step on it, boys.
Say, Murray, I got to see Spike just a minute.
I'm sorry, Jerry. We got to make up for lost time.
But, gee, this is important.
Well, it's important to get this tinned up, too. All right, fellas, hop to it.
Golly, I don't want to be a nuisance, Murray, but I just got to see him.
Well, you just have to wait, son. You'll be through with this job pretty soon, and then you can visit. Well, I'll be leaving you. Business comes first around here.
Yeah, guess it does. Aw, gee, Rag. Now what we going to do? We wasted a lot of time talking about that key. For a minute, I even forgot about the trouble Spike's in. We just got to see him. Come on, let's walk around where he's working. Maybe we can get just a word with him alone. Spike. Hey, Spike.
Yeah? Hello there.
Come here a second.
Well, I gotta finish this first.
It's awful important. Please, quick. Just behind this wagon.
Oh, but Murray said
He's
that...
on the other side now. He won't miss you. It's a matter of life and death.
For heaven's sake, Jerry, what's eating you? You want me to lose my job?
No, that's what's wrong. Oh, gee, please. Just a minute.
Okay. I hope you don't get me into trouble. Everyone's so nice to me here. I hate
Quick.
to...
Just behind this wagon.
Oh, you're the beatenest kid. Now, what's on your mind?
Gee, I don't know how to tell you.
Be quick about it. Murray will be back here pretty soon, and I want to be on the job.
Yeah, well... You see, it's like this.
Come on, get going, Jerry.
Well, you know... Say, Spike, will you take your cap off?
Say, what's this all about? What you talking about?
Gee, Spike, it's just because I like to know that...
Oh, what's on your mind?
Well, someone thinks they recognize your picture.
Yeah? What picture?
Well, in the post office. There, I said it.
Yeah, well, what of it?
And it is your picture, the one on the poster.
Oh, who told you about it?
Well, Johnny Bradley saw it a long time ago, and then when he met you, he thought he remembered, but he wasn't sure till we landed here.
Yeah, go on.
Well, then this morning he went over to the post office, and now he says he's sure. So he just now told Mr. Randall, and I guess they're going to tell the police.
You know, Jerry, what it means to help an escaped convict?
No.
Well, it means prison, and it's mighty serious.
Golly, Gee, but I couldn't help telling you, even if it is maybe too late.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. 2 men have been terrorizing the tavern keepers in your city. In spite of your efforts, they continue to run free. Your job? Stop them.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, June 14th. It was hot in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. My name's Friday. We're on our way out from the office, and it was 11:13 a.m. when we got to the corner of 7th Street and Sunset Boulevard. The Black Dog Bar and Grill.
In the back.
No.
Hi.
How are you?
Well? What'll it be?
Police officers.
Oh, cops, huh?
That's right. It's Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
How are you, Nick Thomas? I guess about last night, huh?
That's right. We'd like to go over a couple things with you.
Sure. Can I get you anything?
No.
You mind if I have a cup of coffee while we talk?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Sure surprised me.
What's that?
Last night, I sure wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
You know, you read about things like that happening, but you just never figure them happening to you.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you've been in the business as long as I have. You ought to expect it. At least that's the way I figure it.
Yeah.
Well, okay, what do you want to know?
Well, according to what you told the officers last night, the men came in the place about 11:30. Is that right?
That's right, 11:30.
You sure about the time?
Oh, yeah. You see, I always look at that newscaster, 11:15, 11:30.
Mm-hmm.
He went off the air, and they just put up the card where it tells what station it is, and this guy walked right in.
Yeah.
Can't stand him myself.
What?
The newscaster, I can't stand him. Me and the missus have gotten some real bad beefs about him.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah, she digs him, but I can't stand him myself. He's a real no good.
Mm-hmm.
He's the kind of a guy where if some old man spit in the sidewalk, he could build it up so we should evacuate the whole city. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, he's like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's a real no good.
Wonder if you checked this description of the 2 men who held you up.
Sure. Know those 2 guys any place. Ever saw them again, I'd sure know them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's them. The tall one and the fat one. That's them. I know them any place.
What'd they say to you?
Well, hardly nothing at all. Just walked up to the bar, leaned over, and told me to hand over the money.
I see. You remember the exact words?
You mean the way they said it?
Yeah.
Well, let me see. I think it was, okay, Mac, this is stick-up. Do like we tell you, won't get hurt. Like that he talked.
Mm-hmm.
Just give us the money, don't make any noise.
Yeah.
Well, I did. Walked right back to the register, opened it up, and handed over the loot.
What happened then?
Told me to keep quiet, and then they walked out of the place.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else in here?
Well, there's a couple of people up in front.
Did the thieves bother them?
No, they were just after the money in the register. Other couple didn't even know there was anybody here until it was all over.
I see.
There were a couple of kids.
What's that?
Kids, you know what I mean. Like young and real in love. Roof could have fallen in. They wouldn't have known it.
Yeah.
Cops talked to them last night, but they couldn't tell them nothing.
You say you'd know these men if you saw them again, huh?
You just get all the money you can on that one.
Mm-hmm. Did you see if they had a car?
Who?
The men who held you up.
Oh, no.
They didn't have one, right?
Well, I didn't see it.
Is there anything about them that you can tell us?
No, just a couple of guys, one tall, the other one fat.
Did you see if they had a gun?
You think I'd have handed over the money if they didn't?
What kind of a weapon was it?
It was a gun, the kind with bullets. You pull the trigger, it goes bang, like that.
Yeah,
It was a gun.
I know, but was it a revolver or an automatic?
Well, I don't know. I guess it was, well, come to think of it, I guess... Hey, you know, you're right.
What do you mean?
I didn't see it.
Hmm.
Not even a peek. Guy had his hand in his pockets like this, you know, like this.
Yeah.
I didn't actually see the gun, though, not for real.
Mm-hmm.
He just had it in his pocket.
Yeah.
Hey, you figured he was just playing a joke on me?
What's that?
A funny, that he really didn't have a gun at all?
Well, we wouldn't know.
Well, why not?
What?
Well, why don't you know? It's your job, isn't it? Knowing things like that? Bunch of crooks running around. You don't even know if they got a gun. The fine lot of cops you guys are.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I might have just given him that money for nothing. If he didn't have a gun, there was no reason to hand it over. No reason at all. I should have found out. That's what, huh?
What do you mean?
I made a grab at the guy. Probably didn't have nothing in the pocket but just his hand or something like that.
Yeah.
If he didn't have one, if I was right, I could have told you guys.
What if it was the other way?
Huh?
What if you were wrong? From the method of operation and the description of the suspects, we knew that they were the same 2 men who had staged 6 robberies in the past week. We showed the latest victim the mugshots from the packages that the stats office had turned for us. He pointed out 3 of the pictures and said they looked something like the hold-up men, but he was unwilling to make even a tentative identification. 11:56 a.m. We returned to the office and put in a call to Leighton Prince. They hadn't been able to turn anything of value. A canvass of the area around the bar had netted nothing. The case stood where it had 7 days before when the robbery was first reported, 1:15 p.m.
Well, it doesn't seem to be a directional trend.
No, they're hitting all over, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Anything from Brereton?
A list of names came in this morning. We've already checked most of them out.
We could use a few more leads.
I'd settle for one.
Yeah.
You seen the skipper?
Yeah, I was in earlier. I don't think he's in the office now.
I wonder when he's going to climb on it.
I don't know. I've been expecting him to. Better off around?
I haven't seen him, why?
Well, he said he might be able to help us turn something. Said he had an informant down on L.A. Street.
Mm-hmm. Hot shot. Let's go. Same two.
Yeah.
They hit again. Frank and I left the office and drove out to the scene of the latest robbery. It was a small restaurant located on South Spring. By the time we got there, a radio car had arrived, and the officer was checking the area.
You the cops? Are you? Are you more cops?
That's right.
That's what I thought. Other fella, he left. He said he was going to look for the crooks. He just went up the street.
You want to tell us what happened?
Held up, that's what. Held up.
Yes, we understand. Did the officer get a description of the thieves?
Sure, got it first thing. Said something about doing a broadcast or something. I'm not sure what he meant, but that's what he said.
All right. You want to give us your name?
Hector Pip.
What's that?
Pip. P-I-P. Like C.
Uh-huh.
Conan Doyle wrote a story about him. Pips. C, you know. Yep. Hector Pip.
This is my partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Sure thing. Now, what do you want to know?
Well, would you tell us what happened, please?
Better get on the ball. Can't stand around and waste time. Better get the fellas what did it.
Mm-hmm.
Came in, right through that door, came in and told me it was a stick-up. That it, just as plain as anything. Stick up.
Mm-hmm.
Sent me to hand over the money in the cash register. Over.
How much was it?
Well, I'm not sure. Must have been about $60, $70. I'm not sure.
Did you see him when they left?
Well, certainly. You couldn't very well miss him. Small place. Just stood here and watched him go. Watched my money go right out the door.
Yes, sir. What I meant was, did you see him get in the car?
No, I didn't. No, I sure didn't. Just stood here and watched him go. But I didn't see no car.
Was there anybody else in the place?
Oh, there was one fellow.
Where's he?
He left. All excitement got into gear, and he left. Chintzy, too. Chintzy.
What do you mean?
Owed me for a piece of cream pie and a cup of coffee.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen him before?
No, a new face. He ain't from around here. Brand new.
Did you hear either of the two men use a name of any kind?
I sure did, yeah.
You want to tell us?
Do I have to?
We'd like you to, if you will.
Lard. That's what he said. Lard.
Which one?
The tall one, like a fence picket. He's the one.
He called the other one Lard.
No.
But you said he used the name.
Sure. But he was talking to me.
Yeah. Well, look, is there anything else you can tell us about the men that might make it easier to identify them?
No, just two fellas. One tall, thin, other one fat.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have no reason to call me Lard. I've been on a diet for a couple of weeks. Eating those pills that swell up in your stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess they work for some people. It's make me feel as though I had a sponge.
Mm-hmm. Was there anything outstanding about the men?
No. Not that comes to mind, no.
They have a gun?
Not right off.
What do you mean?
Didn't have one when they come in. Of course, I didn't know that. No, sir, I didn't have any idea, no.
Mm-hmm.
Got 'em now, though. Stole 'em with the money.
What?
38 revolver and the 25 automatic. Took 'em.
Frank and I took the latest victim to the city hall. While he started to check the mug books, we ran the serial numbers of the guns through the record section. We found that they were both registered to Hector Pip. At 3:46 p.m., Frank came back to the office from the mug room.
Joe?
Back here. How's it going?
Oh, well, he still hasn't found anything.
What's he checking now?
Coming out books. Had 4 or 5 more to go through.
Did you show him the pictures the stats office turned?
Yeah, nothing.
Hi, we had been
Hi, Walt. Mug room.
looking for you.
Yeah?
Talked to a fellow down on Main this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Said he knows the guys you're looking for.
We made arrangements for somebody to stay with the victim, and then Frank and I left the city hall. Sergeant Walt Bitteroff drove us over to talk to his informant. We found him in a cheap hotel on Wall Street.
All right, Walt, come on in.
Thanks, Angie.
You get it?
Yep. Here you are.
They cold?
Right out of the icebox.
Yeah, thanks.
These are the 2 guys I told you about, Angie.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you want some cold beer?
No.
thanks a lot. How about you, Walt?
Uh-huh.
You don't mind if I have one?
Well, go ahead.
Oh, I must have had a good time last night.
Yeah.
I feel like they're 3 feet apart.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, nothing like a cold beer next morning. My girlfriend gave me some new glasses, like in a beer commercial.
Yeah, nice.
Sure looks good, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, sir. That's what I needed. Funny.
What?
Funny about beer. Always tastes good, but a glass like this makes it taste better. Ambrosia. Pure ambrosia.
Yeah. I wonder if we can get down to business, Angie.
Ah, sure. Now I get my head back. What can I do for you?
You said you had some information on the two guys who were pulling these bar holdups.
Yeah, that's right.
I'd like you to tell Friday and Smith here about it.
They cops?
That's right.
You're after fellas, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Won't tell you anything about setup?
What do you mean?
Well, anything you get, it didn't come from me.
Yeah, they know that, Angie.
Well, I gotta make sure. I remember something that helps you out. I forget it right away. You talk to me 5 minutes from now, I don't remember. Deal?
All right. What about the guys?
Yeah, they got in town a couple of months ago.
Where are they from?
St. Louis.
You got the names?
Yeah, part of them.
What do you mean?
Well, just what they're called, that's all I got.
That'll do.
Don't pay to ask too many questions, you know.
Yeah.
Step on somebody's toes and you find a foot in your face.
What about the names?
Well, the tall one's called Ronnie. Fat guy's tagged Whale.
Is that what everybody calls them?
All I heard.
You know where they live?
Nope.
Where'd you meet them?
I move around. Run into them, a couple of bars. Seen them once or twice.
How do you know they're the ones we're after?
Just figures, that's all. Got a big roll, talk loud, way they look, just figures.
You know where we can pick them up?
Haven't got any idea.
They driving a car?
Well, not that I've seen.
Anything else you can tell us about them?
You've had it.
Have either one of them fallen?
Well, we never spent an evening talking about it, but it figures they did.
Back east, maybe?
Yeah, I guess so. I heard the Whale say this was the first time they'd been on the coast.
All right, Angie, if there's nothing else.
There isn't.
If you hear anything, Angie, we'd appreciate a call.
Works out, I'll let you know. I'm not going to put anything in writing. Those jokers hear about it, and I'd have to dig a hole.
Okay.
Thanks for coming by, Walt.
Yeah.
Glad to have met you guys. See you again, huh?
Yeah, sure.
Hey, thanks for the beer, Walt.
It's okay.
Sure made the difference. First got up, I felt like a gang of midgets that had been playing soccer in my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
We're up last night. Gotta make a few calls around, find out.
Huh?
What kind of time I had.
We returned to the office and sent a radiogram to the St. Louis Police Department requesting all information on anyone in their files who'd used the nicknames Ronnie or Whale. We checked the two names through our moniker file without result. The next day, Wednesday, June 15th at 5:26 p.m., we got word from the east.
Here it is, Joe.
St. Louis?
Yeah, looks like they turned him.
Let me see. Ronald Saba and Gerard Llewellyn. How about Muggs?
Well, they're sending stand-ups right away.
Should be here in the morning then, shouldn't they?
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll get it.
What is it?
Robbery out on Olympic. Sounds like Ronnie and the Whale.
How long ago?
Just left the place. Shot it up pretty bad.
Anybody hurt?
Yeah, policemen got in their way. The Green Tree Cafe was located at the corner of Olympic Boulevard and Estrada Street. By the time we got there, an ambulance had arrived, and the wounded officer had been removed to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. A felony car from Central Division had arrived at the scene and had started to search for the officer's assailants. We got the story from the bartender, Alvin Jaggers.
Well, two guys come in, like I told you, walked right in and told me it was a holdup.
How'd the policeman get shot?
On the way out, it happened. After I give the guys the money, started to leave, Abner saw him, tried to stop him.
You know the officer, do you?
Yeah, he comes in once in a while. Him and his wife come in for steak sandwiches.
Was his wife with him tonight?
Yeah, I think she went up to the hospital with him. I think that's where she went.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, when Abner saw these two fellers, you know, the hold-up man?
Yeah.
When he saw him, he told him to put down the guns.
Where was he standing?
You mean Abner?
That's right.
Oh, he was up there by the door. Him and the missus was in the front booth, and the guys went right by him when they come in.
Yeah.
He was standing right by the door, told him to put down the guns and give up.
Now, did he have his gun out of the holster?
Yeah. You know, he had a kind of aim like this here.
Mm-hmm.
I reckon he was afraid of the people in the place, you know. If he had to shoot or something.
Mm-hmm.
And these two fellers stopped by when they saw him dead in their steps, told Abner to get out of the way.
Yeah.
He didn't budge none. Held his ground for sure. Him right there and them here, see?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the tall one, he yelled that they was going to leave and Abner shouldn't try to stop him.
Uh-huh.
And they started to walk outside, and Abner brought the gun up so as he could shoot at him.
Yeah.
Didn't make it, though. Shot him dead center right here in the chest. After that, they run out the place, took off down the street.
Did the officer shoot at him at all?
Mm-mm. Didn't have no chance. Guess he was finished before he started.
Well, did the men get into a car?
Well, if they did, I didn't see him. Too much going on.
Did either one of these men use a name while they were in here?
How you mean?
Well, did they call each other by name?
Now, let me think about that for a minute. Yeah, I think they did.
What was it, do you remember?
Well, after the shooting the tall one, he turned the other fella and he said, "Come on, well, let's get out of here."
Uh-huh. Which one of them did the actual shooting?
I couldn't tell you that.
What do you mean?
Well, both of them shot about the same time. Wasn't more than a half a second difference. Bang, bang, real fast. Both about the same time. I don't know if they both hit Abner, but they both shot at the same time.
You seen these men around before?
You know, matter of fact, I have.
They've been in here?
Yeah, must have been 3-4 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Come in with Georgia. I guess that's pretty good friend.
Who's she?
Regular customer, spent a lot of time in here. Drinks bangers. Rough.
Mm-hmm. You know we can get in touch with her?
Shouldn't be too hard. She lives down next block.
We left the bar and walked to the entrance of the apartment hotel down the street. According to the building register, Georgia Wells occupied apartment 314. We rang the buzzer, and after a few moments, we were admitted to the building. The elevator wasn't working, so we walked up 3 flights.
Oh, man, I guess I'm getting old. Yeah. Makes you wonder how far you'd get without all the modern conveniences. Huh?
Yeah. This is it here.
Yeah.
Better try it again.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Georgia Wells?
That's right. I know you.
Police officers, we'd like to talk to you.
What about?
Might be better if we came inside.
Sure, come on in. Nothing here to hide. Come on.
I'll look around, Frank.
Yeah.
What's he looking for?
Just want to check the place.
You gonna find anything here? I got no beef with the cops. Never been in any trouble before. I want to keep it that way.
All right.
It's clean, Joe.
You gonna tell me what this is all about?
You know a couple of men named Ronald Saba and Gerard Llewellyn?
Why you asking?
You know 'em?
Yeah.
You know where they are?
No, look. Maybe if you tell me why you're looking for the boys, I can help you out.
It's a police matter.
And you go find them yourself.
When'd you see them last?
A couple of days ago.
Where?
Bar over on 6th.
You know where they live?
Look, mister. I don't carry no water for them, but I'm not going to blow the whistle until I know what the beef is.
It's pretty serious, and you're not doing yourself any good acting like this.
You know where we can find them?
Look, I'm going to level with you. I know the boys. Sure, they're a lot of laughs. Good spenders. That's all it is with us.
We got it that you're pretty good friends.
You've been talking to the landlady. She's all the time sticking her nose in where it don't belong.
That's so?
Yeah. She's hacked at me anyway. Go out of her way to make trouble. All the time. She'll go out of her way.
And why'd she do that?
She don't like me, that's why. She got no reason. She just don't like me. All the time yelling about how I'm using too much laundry, how I let the water run too long, beefing about how I'm not supposed to do no cooking in the place. Pot of coffee, and she's ready to take it in front of the UN.
Mm-hmm.
I told the truth. Boys and me been out a couple of times, dinner, drinks, maybe a show, that's all. Nothing serious between us. Matter of fact, they both leave me cold, romantic.
Well, then you shouldn't worry about telling us where to find them.
I just don't want to get mixed up in nothing. That's all there is to it. I want to get dragged into something I didn't build. You can see that, can't you, huh? You can see that.
Where do we find them?
They'll be here in 40 minutes.
We put in a call to the office and told them where we were. We got out a local broadcast and an all-points bulletin asking 2 suspects be picked up. 5:52 p.m. We settled down to wait for the men.
What am I supposed to do when they get here?
Just keep out of the way.
There's going to be no shooting, is there?
Not unless they started.
You just don't know anymore.
What's that?
You go out with a guy, nothing serious, few laughs, and you end up in trouble.
Ever tell you what they did for a living?
Ronnie mentioned something about starting a car agency.
Yeah.
He had some deal back east where he could get the cars cheap, and he figured on having them driven out here and selling them. Told me how him and the whale was going to clean up.
Mm-hmm.
Said it was the sweetest deal they ever come across. Real sweet, they said.
Yeah.
Joe.
Yeah. You better get in the other room, Miss Wells.
Yeah, sure. Please, no shooting.
All right, go on. Go ahead.
Hi, honey.
All right, mister, hold it right there.
Who's this? Come on, turn around.
What?
Turn around. Put your hands up on that wall. Yeah. Here, Joe. 38.
Where'd you get this, Saba?
I don't know what you're talking.
This gun, where'd it come from?
I never saw it before.
It was in your coat.
Well, then you creeps put it there. It ain't mine.
Where's Llewellyn?
Who?
Gerard Llewellyn.
I never heard of it.
All right, put your hands down.
Now turn around now.
Yeah.
You guys going to tell me what this is all about?
You know more than we do.
Well, I ain't going to argue about that.
Where's the whale?
You guys been on the spike. I don't know what you're talking about.
You want to call downtown, get somebody out here, we'll take him in.
Yeah.
They got you, huh?
You lousy bum. You faint on us.
I had nothing to do
All right,
with it.
take it easy.
She told you, didn't she? Didn't she tell you where to get us?
Doesn't make any difference.
It does to me. All she ever wanted was a good time. All the time wanting to go to the best places. All the time with the expensive clothes. You lousy bum. That's all she is.
All right, that's enough of that.
You're not kidding. Go with me if I never saw her again. Be the best thing.
Well, then you're going to be happy.
Huh?
That's the way it'll be. Another team of men came out from the office and took over the stakeout on the apartment. Frank and I drove Ronald Saba down to the city hall. We put in a call to the receiving hospital and found that the wounded officer would recover. 6:57 p.m. We started to lay out the evidence for the suspect.
We checked the gun through our record section. It's the one you stole from Hector Pip yesterday.
Mistake someplace.
Yeah, but we didn't make it.
You got nothing to hold me on. Nothing.
4 of the victims have seen your picture. They're willing to swear that you're one of the men who held him up.
Bunch of creeps, that's all they are. The whole slew of them.
Sure.
Come on, where do we pick up your partner?
I keep telling you guys, I haven't got any partner. I don't know what you're talking about.
You want to explain the gun?
I don't have to. I never saw that gun before. You guys turned it on me. That's what you say. Well, I say it ain't mine. You planted it.
What about the victims?
They made a mistake. It's happened before. Lots of times. You read about it all the time where some joker gets up in court, swears he knows some fella guy ends up spending a couple of years for something he didn't do. All the time. There's stories like that in the paper.
Mm-hmm.
All the time.
Well, you sit there and think you're clean. We got it figured different.
I don't care how you got it figured. I'm telling the story the way it happened. Now, you keep talking about this fellow Whale or whatever it is. I don't know. I never heard of him. All these jobs you say I did. I don't know anything about them either.
I'll get it.
Oh, yeah, well, got a call from D. Lightner. Yeah, picked up the bond. Yeah, he copped out, gave him the whole story. We're bringing him in now. Okay.
Well, you just heard it, Saba.
How about it? You want to make a statement now?
Might go easier if you tell us.
Get out of here. All right, grab him. Come on.
Sit down there.
Come on, let me out of here. Let me out.
Now on your feet. Get up.
Lousy fat slob. He just kept his mouth shut, that's all. Just kept his big fat mouth shut. We've been all right. Him and his big mouth.
Now, let's go.
Him and his big fat mouth. Right into the joint. That's where he's put us. Right into the joint.
That's right.
His idea, the whole thing. He's as full of hot air as he is. Well, I hope he's happy. Look what he did. He got me a ticket right into the joint.
No.
Huh?
You paid your own way.
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On October 18th, trial was held in Department 94, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. Ronald Eben Saba and Gerard Stephen Llewellyn were tried and convicted of robbery in the first degree, 6 counts, and received sentence as prescribed by law. Robbery in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 5 years on each count.
Dragnet. The story of your police force in action is a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
This one's about Pete Kelly. This one's about him. It's about the world he goes around in. It's about the big music and the big trouble and the big roar of the 20s. So when they ask you, you turn right around and speak up. You tell them this one's about the blues. Pete Kelly's blues.
Pete Kelly's Blues, starring Jack Webb, with story by Jim Moser, music by Dick Cathcart.
Number 417 Cherry Street is a standard speakeasy. The help is paid in cash, and the books are burned at the end of the month. Every week we use 30 cases of booze and a pound of coffee. After salaries, there's gas and lights and a payoff to the Prohibition boys. In Kansas City, the price is good. For $100, they steer in the drunks and make one rate a year. The place is run by George Lupo. He's a quiet little guy who wouldn't give you the sweat off an ice pitcher. The beer's green and the gin's as young as yesterday, and the music's loud. I'm Pete Kelly. I play cornet. We start every night about 10 o'clock, and we play till they sweep out the broken glass. We don't draw any customers. We don't chase any away. The music is straight New Orleans. It started in the front parlors of Storyville and drifted north. Some of it laid over in Chicago. That's where I got on and rode it out here with a piano player named Rosie. He's still with the band, but last night he was barely with it. We took a break about 11. Rosie was late getting back. Might as well have stayed in there because he kept looking around the room, and the way the piano sounded, you'd think he had on a catcher's mitt. All right, let's take 5, huh?
Sorry, Pete, I'm a little behind tonight.
You haven't left the station. What's the matter?
I'm nervous. Take a look around. Near the door, back this way. Place is full of cops.
Forget it. Have Jake open a couple of windows. And take a walk. Get yourself in shape.
Now till I find out which way to fall, these boys are here for heavy duty. I'll learn that out in the kitchen.
All right, let's duck behind the stand. Come on. All right, what about it?
You know Dutch Courtney?
I drink his beer, that's all.
Somebody shot Courtney up tonight out near Highway 40.
Well, that's too bad. He'd have drawn a good crowd downtown. Who killed him?
I don't know, but whoever he is, he's in for a big night. The police are trying for him, so is his partner.
Well, let him play. How does our place fit into it?
I couldn't guess. We'll soon find out. See the big guy who just walked in the door?
Yeah. Boss cop?
Almost. It's Eddie Newman, Dutch Courtney's partner.
Yeah, come on, we better get back in the stand.
All right, won't be long now. Hot, dry up.
How's your old man?
Hold on now. Here she comes.
All right, Rosie. Yeah. All right, fellas, let's hit it.
Happy New Year. Goodbye, 1921. Hello, 1922.
Yeah.
My name's Newman. Come outside.
Oh, we're due to play.
I'll hear you later. Come on. You hear about Dutch Courtney? They picked him out of the mud tonight.
It means nothing to me.
It does to me. Dutch was a friend.
Well, if it'll help, try.
I'm short on time, Kelly. Give me a rundown on Gus Trudeau.
There's nothing to say. He played for a while, and he went to the boneyard.
You know him. You know his sister.
You'll have to ask Courtney about that. I haven't seen her since the old days.
You know Gus well enough to figure he didn't like Dutch Courtney. He didn't like it 1 pound.
Well, you can't blame him. Dutch sidestepped and paid Trudeau's way to jail.
Bookkeeping. I don't know anything about it.
All right, look, Newman, you're on the wrong track. Now, this is a job killing. Your boy got frisky, and somebody sent down a Chicago gun. The price tag shows.
Sorry, Trudeau's my pick.
What did he hit him with, a high-powered rifle? Gus Trudeau's away up in Leavenworth.
He used to be. Gus went over the wall this morning. When he shows up, I want him.
Well, why pick me?
I ask around. He'll head for you. He's broke. He'll need train fare.
No, not if he killed Dutch Courtney. Somebody will give him a railroad. When they dragged the blues out of the back room and moved them up front, there were 3 of the best leading the parade. They were all blowing cornets. One was Buddy Bolden, one was King Oliver, and the other was Gus Trudeau. There was a lot of music, but not much man. He picked me up on a union date on the south side of Chicago and taught me how to play. He got into me for a Boston 3-star cornet and gin for the rest of his life. When he got down to running errands for Dutch Courtney, I left for Kansas City. couple of months later, Courtney needed a patsy, and Trudeau was it. He wound up with a 5-year stand at Leavenworth. But Gus never felt right unless he was in trouble. Only this time he cut me in for a piece, too. Well, I picked up a drink at the bar and fought my way back to the stand.
Anything wrong?
No. You finished the set?
One more to go. Sensation.
All right, let's do it.
What's wrong, Pete?
A friend of ours killed Dutch Courtney. All right, sensation. 1, 2. Let's get off for a while, huh?
Who'd you say killed Dutch Courtney?
Gus Trudeau.
And what, Prayer? Trudeau's in jail.
No, not since this morning.
Which one of you is Kelly?
I am.
A friend of yours in town wants to see you right away.
Who is it?
He's waiting up at your room.
Did he give a name?
Just Gus.
An hour later, I was still looking for an out. The muscle man on the side door went to the bar a little after 2 a.m. Our bass man, Red, loaned me his keys, and I slipped out. I got on to 12th Street, picked up his Erskine coupe, and headed up for my room. All the way out Grand Avenue, the streetlights were spending the rest of New Year's alone. Some guys with wide brooms were pushing at the confetti, and the fog was loafing down in Washington Square. When I got to my place, I parked the car in back and headed up the stairs. The college kids down at the end of the hall had their door open. The party sounded young. I was looking for Gus when I opened the door, but he had a substitute. I knew her way back at 18th and Hall Street. She was pretty and the fastest freight in town. It must have been a long time ago, because somewhere along the line she'd run into a batch of Wednesday weekends and she wasn't pretty anymore.
Hello, Pete.
Where's your brother?
I don't know where Gus is. That's why I'm here. I knew you'd be the first one he'd come to.
Yeah. Now what about the break?
I was up to see him 2 weeks ago. He didn't say anything about it. Pete, we gotta help him.
I've been hearing that since I met him.
You're the only one who remembers, Pete. You're the only one who cares.
No, a lot of people care now. Eddie Newman wants him. The cops are looking hard.
I gotta find him before they do. You gotta help Pete.
He was supposed to meet me. That's all I know. I'll wait for him.
He needs a hand, Pete. He's in deep.
Yeah, well, he's always in deep. Now, you do what you want, Madge. I ran front for Gus too long. I'm out of the habit now.
Please.
Gus wants cover. He can look for a police station.
Gus can get away. Some money and a car, that's all he needs.
It's going to take more than that to get out. Every cop in town's working tonight.
Give him a chance, Pete. Help him.
No, thanks.
Gus has been good to you, Pete. He taught you music. He's been nothing but good to you.
I'm paid up. I bought his gin for him for 5 years.
Well, then do it for me. For what I used to be worth.
Now, Madge, it's old. That was 80 years ago. I can't help Gus.
Do it for me. I haven't changed that much.
I have.
You're still the same.
You've been working at it.
You remember.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the same, Petey. It's just like the first time.
You never had a first time. How about a drink?
Will you help me, Pete? Find Gus. Get him out of town.
$10. It's as far as I go. $10.25. Now I'm getting off.
Where are you going?
Back to work. Tell Gus to take care of himself.
Hold it right there, Pete.
You stayed too long in Chicago, Madge.
I bought the gun in Kansas City. Don't go for the door.
You better give it to Gus. He may need it.
We're going to find him. You're going to help me.
All right, come on. Give me the gun, Madge.
If I shoot, it'll hurt.
Put it away, Madge. Come on, drop it.
Who is she?
We'll trade. Who are you?
Cage. I work downtown homicide. Who you got on the floor?
Madge Trudeau.
Tell me about it.
I knew her in Chicago. After that, I heard she did favors for Dutch Courtney. After that, I don't know.
She tired? What's she doing there?
Looking for Gus Trudeau.
Oh. Where is Gus?
I don't know. I've been asked that twice tonight. Now, this is the third time around. I don't know.
You probably will.
Why? Why do I have to get into this?
Because you're Gus Trudeau's friend.
Well, then let him get another one. I'm tired of the job.
I don't blame you, fella. You're going to come out of this with a lot of trouble.
For instance?
I'll make it simple. If Gus Trudeau shows and you hide him, we'll book you for aiding and abetting.
Yeah.
If he shows and you turn him over to Newman, we'll send you up as accessory to murder.
Yeah.
If he shows you turn him over to us, Newman will probably kill you.
Well, that's good. In the meantime, what do you guys do for a living?
We're busy. We couldn't prove Newman killed you. It's after 2. Get back to that club.
And leave you here?
I got work to do.
Like what?
This woman. See if I can get anything out of her.
Yeah, it's been done before, but I'll bet 10 to 1 in your case.
Go on back. I'll tidy up here.
All right, good night, cop. Leave the rugs. I left Cage standing in the middle of the room looking down at Madge Trudeau. He didn't watch me leave, but I figured it wouldn't be too long before he turned that gleam back on me. I went back to 417, and I ran into our piano man, Rosie, outside in the alley, using a smoke for a chaser.
Happy holidays, Petey. How's Gus?
I didn't see him.
An odd hour of the morning, Petey, but I figure the fates are hard at work shaping up a few sordid futures.
Cut the piano, huh?
You've got a very limited selection.
What do you mean?
Before the general citizenry sits down to breakfast, you may get a reward, the eternal kind.
Come on, what is it?
I've got it all figured for the two of us, Petey. Today we'll spend our time dodging destinies. We'll hit for some small back room. I'll bring the bottled goods. We'll live on gin and sauerkraut and make the walls sit up and listen. One horn, one piano. The blues, Petey. We'll ride 'em into the middle of next year.
All right, throw the bottle away. Will you just set me straight, huh?
Across the river, there's 2 places, the High Life Club or Fat Annie's.
You sure he's there?
That's what the word is. I'll pass the hat down at the Union Hall for both of them.
Is Gus alone over there?
Right now, but there's going to be a crowd.
What do you mean?
I told you.
Yeah.
When Eddie Newman gets back, I got to tell him.
Well, I knew it was a silly move. Newman had 100 guns on tour for Gus. Cage and the boys from headquarters were standing by for seconds. Helping Gus Trudeau was out of order, but I couldn't get one thing out of my mind. If Gus did kill Courtney, why didn't he pick up some travel money before he did it? It was backwards. If you're going to hang up your pants, you take them off first. Well, it was about 3 a.m. when I got down to the river and crossed over to the Kansas side. The High Life Club was smoked up and had a little of everything except Gus Trudeau. I looked in the kitchen and tried a back room. And then I went to the bar to see if I could drum up some talk. I had one taker, a boy with wavy black hair. He got up from a table of 3 others, walked over and sat down next to me.
Well, how are you? Come in here often?
Well, this is the first time.
Welcome. I'll buy you a drink?
Well, I'm all set. You try one yourself.
I think drinking's all right, but I hate people that drink too much. Don't you?
You work here?
Well, not regular. Sometimes I dance when the other act doesn't show up. You here alone or you waiting for someone?
I'm waiting. For a guy named Gus Trudeau.
You want his phone?
I'm it. Where is he?
Well, he left a while ago. I'm not sure where he went.
Well, you get sure. It's important.
You mentioned someone named Bessie.
All right, hold it.
What are you here, Kelly?
Get away, Newman. Try another stool.
This will do.
Well, if he asked you to leave, I think you should leave.
Oh, well, a choir boy, that's nice.
Leave him alone.
Who is he?
I never saw him before.
What does he know about Trudeau?
Nothing.
Now, don't kid me. You're not here to spend the time of day. You're here for Trudeau. You little friend. Where's Gus Trudeau?
I don't have to talk to you. I'm a guest in this place.
You're not anymore. Climb down and head for that door, both of you.
You can't make us do that. We're not gonna leave.
It's a split vote, Buster. I don't like the way he pushes.
That's right. Just walk. I'll bet you look good.
I knew right then as we walked across the floor. I knew Eddie Newman wasn't going to leave him alone. He was going to pick at him, whether he knew anything about Gus Trudeau or not. It was going to get messy, and the boy with the nice eyes was going to help. Outside it wasn't snowing anymore, but the ground was covered right down to the river. There was a moon out, and it looked all right if you like nature. We walked over toward a bunch of trees. Newman's car was parked there. It was a black touring sedan with a strong-arm guy in the back seat. There was another one sitting on the running board. He had a machine gun across his lap.
This'll do. All right, now let's hear about Gus Trudeau.
I don't know anything about him. This man and I were just talking.
Go easy, Newman. I never saw him before.
Did you always talk to strangers or Betty does?
It's none of your business.
Where's Gus Trudeau?
I wouldn't tell you. Suppose I knew, I wouldn't tell you.
Yes, you would.
You keep your hands off of me.
Stop pressing, Newman. You don't care about Trudeau now. You just don't like this guy.
Stay out, Kelly. Come here.
Hey, let go. Let go.
Stop screeching. I'll break your arm.
You keep your hands off of you. You pig, you dirty pig.
You're in trouble, fella. Shut up.
Well, he is a pig. His hands are all dirty and his teeth are dirty. I bet even his clothes are dirty. All of them.
Now lay there. All right, Dave, move in here. Back away, Kelly. You're up, choir boy.
No. Please, mister, do something. Don't let a thing like this happen.
It already has, Buster.
No, you can't.
Tell me, Newman, did you ever find out about Gus Trudeau? Newman didn't answer. He climbed into the car and they drove off. Well, I stayed there for a minute to look at the guy in the snow. His face was unmarked. I did him a favor. I rolled him over so it showed in the moonlight. I knew his mother'd want him to look real good the night Eddie Newman's chopper squad cut him down. Well, it was getting cold out, and the name Bessie had to mean Fat Annie's place up the river on the Kansas side. I made it there and found Bessie. She was back at the piano, wandering around somewhere in the middle of the blues. You couldn't miss that voice if she took up yodeling. Bessie Smith.
I've got those Kansas City blues since my man has gone away. Hi, Pete.
Bessie, what do you know?
Round the back, Pete. You go up the stairs, the loft, way up there at the top.
All right, thanks, Bessie.
All right.
I felt my way out and around back and up a couple of flights of stairs that didn't creak in time with the music. There was a door at the top, and I pushed it open. He was hunched back on a pile of hay in the corner. He sat up and blinked a couple of times. There wasn't much left, just the frame. And rattling around inside, a lot of tired echoes that wouldn't lay down and die. There was an empty gin bottle on the floor.
Petey, I knew you'd get here.
Yeah, well, I didn't make it easy.
You're looking good, Petey. Everything's 6 to an even, huh?
You forget easy, Gus. You're in a jam. You broke jail.
Yeah, I told him all about you up there, Petey. I told him there's another Gus Trudeau blowing down to Kansas City. I'm proud of you, Pete.
Yeah, sure, Gus.
You're just like me, Pete. I told him all about you. You're the only good thing I ever done. I knew you'd come through. A car and some money, Pete, it'll do everything. It'll make it all new. Is it too much to ask? You tell me, Pete.
They want you for Dutch Courtney.
You know better, Pete. I didn't kill Dutch.
You had a reason.
Did I? Forget.
He hung a frame on you, Gus. 5 years worth, remember?
I didn't kill Dutch. Get me a drink, huh, boy?
No, not tonight.
Don't preach at me. Just something to help me over.
Oh, yeah. Now, come out of the fog, Gus. You're going to get a drink or a train ticket from me. You take your pick, because it's the last time around.
Just listen to that. Bessie's still going strong, ain't she?
Yeah, and so are the cops. I got one idea for you, Gus. Get moving.
You remember Chicago, Petey? You and Madge. Chicago always liked me.
You checked out, Gus. Biderbeck's got your chair.
They'll remember me and you, Petey. I found you when you were nothing.
What are you going to do? Where are you going?
I got it all set up. It's big and brand new. A place in Mexico.
Yeah?
The guy who bunked in my cell with me, his mother runs a place down there. It's just like it used to be.
Yeah, well, you won't get there on a gin bottle.
I got it set up, boy. Car and some money. It's not much to ask. You haven't got a drink, have you?
You can drink in Mexico. Where are you dreaming up the car and the dough?
It's fixed, boy. You just see this guy and tell him I'm ready. Abe Gaffney. He's got a place on Pershing Road. You know it?
Yeah, I know it. Abe's doing all this?
Just tell him I'm ready.
All right.
How's Madge, Pete?
She's all right.
Come and see me, huh, Pete? It's hot in Mexico.
It gets hot here.
What's the matter, Pete? You ain't sore, are you?
No, I ain't sore. I'm just tired. I'll tell Gaffney that I'm checking out. Goodbye, Gus.
You're not getting too big for your old friends, are you, boy?
Friends are like everything else, Gus.
Yeah?
They wear out on you. Well, it wasn't any different than a dozen times before. I knew there wasn't very much left, but I wasn't looking for a second-rate ghost with an empty gin bottle. I crossed the river back to the Missouri side and headed down Main Street and then swung over toward Abe Gaffney's place on Pershing Road. It was pushing close to 5:30 a.m. The sun wasn't up yet, and the night was too tired to care. I pulled up in front of the Murad sign in front of Gaffney's. Inside, a counterman with pimples and coffee was leaning on last night's paper. A beaded curtain shut off the hallway that led back to Gaffney's room.
You want some?
Yeah, Gaffney.
Not here.
Where do I find him?
No, I don't.
I was supposed to meet him here.
Is so?
Look, this is Gaffney's place. Where is he?
I told you.
Now listen, Junior, maybe you think you do a good imitation of Calvin Coolidge, but I want an answer. Where's Gaffney?
What's your name?
Kelly.
You could have saved an argument. This way. Through here.
When do you go to bed, Kelly?
You still looking, Newman?
I'm still asking. Where's Gus?
I don't think you'd give me time to answer.
There's a good reason why I let you walk away tonight. I gave you 2 hours all by yourself on the Kansas side. I don't think you threw him away. You got a line on Gus Trudeau. I want it.
I got nothing for you.
But don't be silly, Pete. The cops get him or I do. It goes either way.
You get no help from me.
I don't want no help. I want Gus. Now, come on. Come on. I'll make you part of the wallpaper.
You better send for Dave.
I don't need him.
I think you do. Now, don't bother to get up. I'm leaving.
I don't believe it. Wasn't your turn, Kelly.
When I got up off the floor, the room was cold and the lights were out. Newman was gone, but I knew he was still in business. I knew if he didn't find Gus Trudeau this trip, he'd come back for me. I got into Red's car and followed the radiator cap back to 417. I found Rosie back at the stand having breakfast.
Did you bring an egg, Petey? I hate to drink on an empty stomach.
Newman been back here?
I haven't noticed. You look abused.
Yeah. Anybody say anything?
You were missed. You heard the news.
What's that?
They found the guy who got Dutch Courtney, a fellow by the name of Doyle, East St. Louis. Cops got the goods on him, gun, fingerprints, the works.
Yeah. Well, it's been a long night. What was his beef with Dutch?
Doyle owned East St. Louis. Dutch wouldn't believe it.
Leave it to Gus. If there's a hole, he'll fall in it.
Makes it easier on him now, doesn't it? Newman will call his boys off now?
Well, somebody better tell him in a hurry.
Did you see Gus?
Yeah, I saw him. He's trying to get out of town.
Pete Kelly?
Yeah, that's right.
Abe Gaffney, Pete.
Well, you're a hard man to find.
Newman came in the front door. I went out the back. This won't take long. Car keys, money for Gus.
No, you got the wrong guy, Abe. I quit an hour ago.
Fight it out with yourself. The car's out in the alley. It's in great jam. And tell Gus it needs gas.
Well, wait a minute. You can take this stuff to Gus. You know where he is.
No, thanks. You take care of Gus. He's an old friend.
What's the matter with you?
I hardly knew him.
The clock over the bar was leaning on 6:15. We got back on the stand and started the last set. 80 pounds of stale cigarette smoke was holding up the ceiling and waving down on a dirty blue curtain over the dance floor. Behind the bar, one of the guys was wiping up. Two couples picked their way to the dance floor and pushed each other around a while. They finally gave up. Oh, the whole thing. It was all out of step. Wrinkled stockings, brown gardenias, torn paper hats, and Gus Trudeau. He walked in the door and stood off to one side, just back of the stand. All right, it's the last one. Blues and B flat. Same call tonight, 10 o'clock. You can pack up.
Hey, Pete. Petey, over here. I heard you. You sound good, Pete. It's just what I told him up there. You're on your way, boy.
All right, now you heard it, Gus. I got the money for you and the car keys. I'll see you, Gus, huh?
You know what I told him? Another Gus Trudeau's blowing down, and can't you see it?
Yeah.
I only got one thing to tell you, Pete. Don't forget it. Play like you talk. Don't lie.
Happy New Year, Gus.
Oh, hi, Madge.
Hold it there, Pete. This is a family fight. Stay out.
I thought I took that gun away from you.
What's the matter, Madge? What are you doing?
No, don't tell me that talk, Gus. Dutch can't hear you.
What do you mean, Madge?
You killed him. You blew your top and you killed him, just like you did everything else for me. You and the gin and that cheap brass horn of yours. You spent us all, Pete and me, and you ran through the whole bunch till you got to Dutch.
Pete, I didn't do anything.
You killed Dutch Courtney. I loved him. I loved him enough to square it.
Well, you got it all wrong, Madge.
Goodbye, Gus. I'll tell him to throw your horn in after you.
Want to read the paper, Madge? You killed the wrong brother.
Stay away, Pete.
It's in the paper, Madge. Guy by the name of Doyle. He killed Dutch.
They're not sure, are they?
Yeah, they're sure.
Oh, what'll I do?
I got two things for you, Madge. And the car keys. And you see what you can do with 10 minutes start.
You didn't have anything more for Gus, did you, Pete?
No, I guess not.
Well, he made it.
Yeah, Gus finally got out of town.
Pete Kelly's Blues. Starring Jack Webb, with story by Jim Mosier, music by Dick Cathcart. Scoring by Matty Matlock. Pete Kelly's Blues is based on characters created by Richard L. Breen.
This is NBC, the national broadcast.
Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned a juvenile detail. A woman reports that a teenage boy has been stealing food from her home. She says she's seen him several times. Your job? Check it out.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, April 12th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of juvenile detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Powers. My name's Friday. I was on my way into the office, and it was 7:57 a.m. when I got to the second floor of Georgia Street Juvenile. Squad room.
Don't try to tell me I needed 3 hours to make a simple phone call. He was arrested at 1 o'clock this morning.
That's right.
I didn't hear about him until after 4. Now, why weren't we contacted immediately? My wife was half out of her mind.
We're sorry about that. Oh, morning, Joe.
Morning.
Mr. Neff, this is my partner, Sergeant Friday.
How are you?
This is Vincent Neff's father, Joe.
I see.
Were you in on this thing, too, Friday?
That's right.
Took both of you to arrest a 15-year-old boy, did it?
We made the arrest together. Why?
Well, I'd be ashamed to admit it.
Well, just what seems to be the trouble, Mr. Neff?
My boy's in jail. He's been there all night.
Yes, sir.
I found out about it a couple of hours ago. I want to know why I wasn't called at once.
Well, sir, we called you as soon as we could. Your son wasn't carrying any identification. He refused to answer our questions. We had no way of knowing who to contact.
Well, he was scared, that's all. You can't blame him for that. How'd you get his name if he wouldn't tell you? You beat it out of him?
The other boy we picked up decided to cooperate with us.
I'll just bet he did. He wanted to shift some of the blame. My son's done anything at all, anything he shouldn't. You can be certain that Leonard kid put him up to it.
Mm-hmm.
Vincent doesn't even know what this is all about.
You've talked to him, have you?
Certainly. Says it's a mistake, the whole thing.
Sure.
Oh, I suppose the police don't make mistakes, huh?
We make them.
I'll say you do, and you pulled the beauty this time.
It doesn't look that way to us, Mr.
Oh, don't tell me how it looks. I know my son. I know when he's telling the truth. He says this is a mistake, and I believe him.
Oh, it's natural, I guess.
No, I'm not going to make any wild threats or try to go over your heads, but I want that boy released, and I want him released at once.
Sorry, sir, we can't do that.
I'm being just as patient as I can with you, Sergeant.
Mr. Knapp, we filed a petition on your son. There'll be a pre-detention hearing in juvenile court as soon as possible. The court will decide what happens to him after that. It's out of our hands now.
It wasn't out of your hands last night when you arrested him.
That was our job.
Your job is to protect people's rights. You're supposed to be cops, not bullies.
Take it easy, Mr. Knapp.
There's plenty of crime in this town and plenty of criminals. Robberies, killings, holdups. Only trouble is they never get solved. Guess the police force is too busy manhandling youngsters and chasing bums out of freight yards.
All right, Mr. Knapp.
Too busy or too scared. You're afraid to tackle the real gangsters. You might get hurt. You'd rather pick on a teenage kid who can't fight back. Cowards, that's what you really are. You're cowards, not policemen.
Let me ask you something, Knapp. Suppose a couple of guys drive into a filling station. One of them cracks the owner over the head with a tire iron while the other one cleans out the cash register. You think we ought to forget about it or go after him?
I'm not interested in hypothetical cases. I'm talking about my son.
So am I.
What do you mean?
You said you spoke to the boy. Didn't he tell you why he's here?
He said he didn't know. Is that what it is? You think he's mixed up in a filling station robbery? Is that where you're holding him?
Maybe you better ask him again.
I'm asking you.
Yes, that's right. That's it.
Well, you'd better be able to prove it, Sergeant. Believe me, you'd just better be able to prove it.
A woman across the street from the station saw two boys drive away. She got the license number.
Vince doesn't have a car.
It was young Lemmer's jalopy. But your son was still with him when we made the arrest.
Well, that doesn't prove anything. That doesn't prove they were together at the filling station. It was some other boy, not Vince.
That's what your son says, too.
Well, then why don't you believe him?
Lemmer gave us a different story.
Well, what do you expect? He doesn't want to take all the blame. He's in a jam, and he wants some company.
The woman across the street is sure there were two boys, Mr. Neff.
Well, that doesn't make one of them my Vince. Does she say it was Vince? Is she willing to swear to it?
No, sir.
What about the owner of the station? Has he identified my son?
He can't identify anybody. He's still unconscious.
Well, I'm sorry for him, of course, but you haven't got any right to blame Vince. And you haven't got any evidence against him either.
We got the tire iron that was used in the slugging, Neff.
Well, what about it?
We had it checked by Leighton Prince.
Well?
They found a set.
Well, they can't be Vince's fingerprints. They can't be.
I'm afraid they are.
No, you're wrong. You made a mistake.
Not this time.
Look, we're sorry, Mr. Neff.
Why would Vince do a thing like this? There's no reason. He's had everything we could give him. It'd be different if we were poor, if he didn't get an allowance every week.
Yeah.
There's just no reason.
No, sir, I guess he found one.
Well, I'm sorry. Sorry if I was a little rough on you.
It's all right.
I better get on home now. His mother will... She'll want to know if he's all right.
Yes, sir.
Oh, there's one thing.
Yes, sir.
If he really did this terrible thing, I'm glad you caught him right away, right after it happened. Now we've got a chance.
Sir?
But it won't happen again.
What do you got there?
Oh. I didn't realize I still had it with me.
What is that?
Well, it's one of those puzzles with numbers you move around, try to line them up.
Oh.
The kids brought it home last night. I was showing them how to work it. Guess I stuck it in my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
It's real easy, Joe. There, see? I got them all in order. One. That's funny.
Why, what's the matter?
Nothing. I just had a couple out of sequence, that's all.
Well?
Well, give me a minute, can't you, Joe?
You got three numbers in the wrong place.
Look,
now.
Joe, I can't work the puzzle when you're watching me like that.
Oh, that's it. I get it. Juvenile Friday. Yes, ma'am. I see. Well, do you know the boy? Will you give me your address, please? All right. I have it. What? Yes, ma'am, we would. Will you be home? All right. Thank you very much. Lady up in the Hollywood Hills.
Yeah?
Some youngster's been stealing groceries out of her garage.
She know who it is?
She got a pretty good idea.
Yeah?
She almost caught him. Frank and I left the office and drove out to a hillside address on Edgewood Drive, 2 miles north of Hollywood Boulevard. It was 9:17 a.m. when we got there.
Well, there isn't too much to tell. week, 10 days ago, I started missing things from the garage here.
What sort of thing?
Canned goods. I keep an extra supply on those shelves over there in the corner.
I see.
But there wasn't much gone, just a couple of items now and then. First, I wasn't even certain. I thought maybe I'd used them up myself and forgot about it.
Mm-hmm.
Then this morning I saw him. It was right after Clarence went to work.
Well, now, about what time would that be?
7 a.m. That's when he leaves. No later than 5 after.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing up the breakfast dishes, and I heard somebody fussing around the garage. By the time I got to the back door, he was sneaking off across the yard. I gave a shout, started after him.
What happened then?
I guess my yelling kind of took him by surprise. Anyway, he turned around and dropped the stuff he was holding. He sure didn't wait to pick it up, though. He started off as fast as his legs would carry him. He headed up the hill there. That was the last I saw of him.
Well, now, just what was it he dropped, Miss Roman?
A couple of cans of my groceries and a big paper bag. That's it, there on the stool there. I looked inside. Maybe I shouldn't have, but I thought it might be some more of my canned goods.
That's all right.
What do you got, Joe?
Books.
Huh?
Books here.
Huh?
Theoretical Physics, Principles of Dynamics, Frontiers of Molecular Structure.
Couldn't make head nor tail of them myself. Must be something he's studying.
Yes, ma'am.
His name in him?
No. No, they're all from the Hollywood Library.
Mm-hmm.
One of you tell us what he looks like, Miss Roman.
Yes, I guess so. First off, I'd say he looks like books.
Does it?
You know, the studying
Oh,
type.
yes, I see.
Sort of thin and pinched.
Mm-hmm.
Blondish hair. Light complected.
About how tall is he?
5 feet 6 or 7. Might look taller than he really is on account of being so thin.
Mm-hmm.
About how old would you say he was?
15, 16, somewhere in there. Just a youngster.
Did you notice his clothes?
Hat on, pants looked pretty worn. And the sweater.
What about the color?
The sweater was blue. Pants were too faded to tell.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want you to understand one thing, Mr. Friday.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not real upset about him taking our food. If he needs it, that is. It just seems to me there ought to be a better way of going about it. Nobody has to steal.
Yes, ma'am. Is today the first time you ever saw this boy, Miss Roman?
Oh, no. I've seen him a couple of times before. 1 or 2 mornings he walked past the house on his way down the hill. Other evening I saw him heading back up. Of course, I didn't connect him with my missing groceries then.
Oh, we'll have a look around. If he just lives up on the hill, he shouldn't be too hard to find.
Oh, no, Mr. Friday. He doesn't live up there. Nobody does.
Ma'am?
Edgewood Drive gives out 100 yards beyond us, just around the next curve.
Oh, I see.
We're the last house.
"9:32 a.m. Frank and I left Mrs. Roman. We drove up to the end of Edgewood Drive, and we got out of the car.
Well, she's right, Joe.
What's that?
No place for anybody to live around here. I think you were way out in the country.
Yeah. Frank?
Huh?
Over there, halfway up on the slope.
Where?
See? Right behind that tree.
Oh, yeah.
What's it look like to you?
I don't know. Oh, I guess. Why?
Maybe that's where he set up housekeeping.
What are you talking about, Joe?
Well, didn't you ever try it when you were a kid?
Try what?
Hiding out in the cave? We climbed up the side of the hill. About 200 yards east of the road, we came to a small hole. Behind this opening was a shallow natural cave. Frank and I crawled inside. The cave was about 8 feet long and 4 feet wide. The boy we were looking for was not there, but there was plenty of evidence that this was where he'd been living. A sleeping bag was rolled up in one corner. Beside it was a small supply of canned food. We found 10 or 12 notebooks filled with handwritten mathematical equations and some 50 textbooks on advanced physics or higher mathematics.
He sure believes in making use of the public library.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Just about every branch in town.
Well, I suppose there are worse things he could be reading.
Yeah. Looks like they aren't all library books.
What do you got, Joe?
There's a couple here with book plates.
Huh?
Owners' names in them. Book plates in 3 of the texts indicated that they were owned by a person named Carl Winderman. All the other volumes were the property of various Los Angeles libraries. We contacted the office and made arrangements for another team of juvenile officers to stake out on the cave. On our way downtown, we stopped off at the Hollywood Library. We showed the librarian several volumes which belonged to that branch. Her records indicated that the books had not been checked out. She had no idea who had taken them or when. 11:13 a.m. We put out a local with the boy's description, and we checked with missing persons. As far as we could tell, he had not been reported missing. 11:46 a.m. Frank and I made several calls to branch libraries. They all said that the books in question had been removed from their shelves without authorization. We checked the phone directories for the name Carl Winderman. At 12:06 p.m., we reached him at his office at Bradfield University.
Yes, sir, I see. Well, I'd be up to you, sir, any time you say. I'd be fine with that. Yes, sir. Well, thank you very much. That's the right guy, Joe, head of the physics department.
Mm-hmm. Do you know anything that might help us?
Yeah, he knows the boy.
4:16 p.m. Frank and I drove out to the Bradfield campus. We met with Dr. Carl Winderman in his office on the second floor of the science building.
Yes, I've talked to the boy several times.
Mm-hmm. Did you know he had these books of yours?
Of course, I loaned them to him.
Oh, I see.
How'd you happen to meet him, Doctor?
It was here at the university.
Yes, sir.
He came to see me. He had read some articles of mine. He wished to discuss them.
What's that?
It was not presumptuous. He has a brilliant mind. Extraordinary.
I see.
And he also wished to inquire about enrolling. He asked about a scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to discourage him for a year or so at least. He's very young.
Did he say how old he was?
18, that is what he told me. I'm afraid it is not the truth.
About how old would you say he is?
Perhaps 16.
Do you know his name, sir?
Peter.
And his last name?
I suppose he told me, but I'm afraid I do not remember. The typical absent-minded professor.
What about his family? Did he mention them?
No. I imagine they are not well-to-do. The way he was dressed, the inquiry about a scholarship.
Yes, sir. Did he say where he lives?
In Los Angeles, that's all.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I think he did mention something about recently coming to California.
Mm-hmm.
From one of the eastern states, Pennsylvania, perhaps.
You wouldn't know which town, would you?
No, I'm sorry.
Is there anything else you can tell us about him, Dr. Winderman?
Well, I would say he is an unhappy boy.
You say he's unhappy?
Yes, sir.
What do you mean?
Lonely, aloof. It must be very difficult for him. Other people. The children his age, he would be unable to talk to them. They would have nothing in common, even adults.
I see.
A brilliant mind does not necessarily make for a well-adjusted person, especially in one so young.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Winderman. Leave you one of our cards. If you should hear from him again, would you get in touch with us, please?
Yes, of course. If there's anything I can do for Peter...
It's very kind of you.
Is he, in some kind of trouble?
Well, we don't know yet, sir.
I did not mean to pry. Forgive me.
Well, the fact is he's been borrowing some books that don't belong to him.
Books?
Yes, sir, from libraries around town.
To want to read, to want to learn, is that such a serious crime? It does not seem like one to me.
Yes, sir.
And is that all he's done?
Well, he's taken some other things, too. Food, canned goods.
Yes, of course, I should have known. When he was here, I should have known.
Beg your pardon?
But it has been so long since I've seen one.
What's that, sir?
A boy who was hungry.
Frank and I went back to the office. The officers on stakeout reported that the boy had not returned to the cave. The stakeout was continued. 7:48 p.m. You still fooling with that thing?
Oh, I wasn't even thinking, Joe. It just happened to reach in my pocket.
Let me see. Did you get him in order yet?
I wasn't trying, Joe. I told you I didn't even know I was fooling with it.
I get it.
I wasn't trying.
Yeah. Juvenile Friday. Yeah. Uh-huh. What about? Okay. We'll be right over. Thank you. Kid walked into a grocery store, walked out without paying for his groceries.
Sound like our boy?
Store's on the corner of Green Street and Edgewood. Frank and I drove out to the Huggin grocery store on the corner of Green and Edgewood. 8:17 p.m. We pulled up and went inside.
I was waiting on another customer. I didn't pay much attention to him. Next thing I knew, he was sneaking out the door. Yes, sir? What can I do for you?
We're police officers. This is Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
You from Central?
That's right.
I'm Davis, Hollywood.
Did you get a description here?
Yeah, my partner's out looking around. I'll give him a hand.
Okay, thank you.
Say, will you take care of the report?
Yeah, we will.
Thanks.
Now, this ain't no big robbery or anything like that. He was just a kid, you understand?
Yes, sir. Could you tell us what he looked like, Mr.
Huggin, Andy Huggin. This thing's a sign on the window there.
Yes, I see.
Well, like I said, he was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Teenage, about halfway.
How's that?
Halfway in his teens, about 15 or 16.
I see.
Light hair, thin on a rail.
How was he dressed, sir?
Pants, sweater.
I see.
Just what did he take from your store, Mr. Huggins?
Well, I couldn't say for certain. I wouldn't have known he took anything if it hadn't dropped out from under his sweater when he was sneaking out the door.
Yeah.
Can of corned beef. That's what it was that fell.
Mm-hmm. Did you see which way he went?
Out the door, up the street. Told the other policemen. I guess they're after him.
Yes, sir.
I don't know whether I done right or not.
How's that?
In reporting it, I expect it seems like a lot of fuss about a few groceries.
No, sir.
Trouble it is, you let one of them get away with something like this, the news gets around. Next thing you know, the store's full of them, The kids try to steal you blind.
Yes, sir, we understand.
Worse than a plague of locusts.
Sergeant?
Yeah, David.
Out in the car?
What?
We got it.
The patrol car officers had found the boy hiding in an alley a few blocks west of the grocery store. We transferred him to our vehicle and drove him down to Georgia Street. 9:46 p.m., we took him up to the interrogation room for questioning.
Sit down, son.
All right, now you want to tell us about it?
About what?
Well, let's start with your name. Huh?
Well,
Paul.
Paul what?
Jones.
You sure about that, are you?
I don't know my own name.
Yeah, you should.
Where do you live, Paul?
San Diego.
What are you doing in L.A.?
Just looking around, that's all.
Mm-hmm. What's your address, son?
Huh?
In San Diego. What's your address?
I don't know.
You know your name, but you don't know where you live.
Tony moved to California a few weeks ago.
You live with your folks?
Sure.
They have a telephone?
Uh-huh.
What's father's name?
Bill. Bill Jones.
How long you been in Los Angeles, son?
Just today.
Just today.
Hitchhiked in this morning.
Did you ever hear of a man named Carl Winderman?
Who is he?
Now, look, Pete, you're not doing yourself any good here. Did you hear what I said?
My name's Paul.
Why'd you steal that stuff from the grocery store, son?
I don't know.
What kind of an answer is that? You're in trouble, Pete. Serious trouble.
Am I?
All right, you won't tell us, we'll tell you. You didn't come to Los Angeles today. You've been here for a couple of weeks. You've been living in a cave up in the Hollywood Hills.
Yeah?
And this grocery store tonight isn't the first time you've gotten out of line.
Why'd you take all those books, son?
What books?
Well, just shows you how much these college professors really know.
Huh?
Like that Dr. Winderman. He says you're a smart kid. You got a real good head on your shoulders. Well, he's a pretty poor judge of brains, isn't he?
What, you know about it?
Well,
he's so far ahead of you guys.
Thought you never heard of him. All right, now, Pete, let's quit fooling around. Let's have it straight. All of it.
What do you want?
Your name isn't Paul Jones. Now, what is it?
Siler.
Pete Siler?
Yeah.
Where's your home?
You found it.
I didn't mean that cave, your real home.
I don't know. I used to live with my sis back in Philly.
Well, what happened?
She got married, threw me out.
What about your folks?
They're dead. What the heck are you doing? That thing.
It's just a puzzle.
Oh.
You're supposed to line up the numbers, 1 through 15.
Yeah?
Here, you want to try it?
Is that all? Just line them up?
Sure.
Now what?
Oh, that's it, I guess.
Oh.
Why'd you come out to California, Pete?
Wanted to go to college. Thought maybe I could study physics.
Did you finish high school?
No, not the history and English part.
What do you mean?
Science and math, I finished them a couple of years ago when I was a kid.
Just how old are you?
16 almost. Be harder if you didn't look at it.
Huh?
That puzzle.
Yeah?
You know, let the guy see it first so he knows just where the numbers are.
Oh, yeah.
Then make him work it with his hands behind his back. For memory.
Oh.
Be harder that way.
Yeah.
I'll show you. Go ahead, mix them up.
Okay. I thought you were going to memorize it first.
I did. Take a look. I get them right?
Yeah.
It's harder that way, though.
All right, Pete, now let's go back to it. Why'd you take all those books?
I wanted to study them. I was going to return them when I was through. I couldn't get a library card, not without a real address.
What about the canned goods you've been stealing?
It wasn't much, just enough to eat. Well, what's going to happen to me now?
Well, that's not up to us.
Huh?
What do you think ought to happen?
I don't know. I don't see where I did anything so wrong.
You don't, huh?
Well, did I?
You stole books, you stole food. You caused us a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Well, you're the whiz at math, aren't you?
Huh?
You add it up.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On April 16th, a hearing was held in juvenile court, the state of California, in and for the county of Los Angeles. Peter Ellis Seiler was made a ward of the juvenile court and was placed in a foster home. Through the efforts of Dr. Carl Winderman, he was permitted to enroll in Bradfield University as a special student in the field of higher mathematics and physics.
You have just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
I get 10 a day in expenses from a detective bureau run by a guy named Anthony J. Lyon. They call me the Lion's Eye.
With Jack Webb as Jeff Regan, the Lion's Eye, stand by for hard-boiled action and mystery and thrilling adventure in tonight's story of the man who fought back.
There's a street crammed in between Wilton and Van Ness in Hollywood called Taft Avenue. It's a couple of blocks long. It only got there because the city planners had a few tons of cement left over from the Coliseum. On the corner, there's a gray building poking its way up through a crack in the pavement. That's where I live. Apartment K. 2 rooms with a connecting door to a broom closet. Oh, the place isn't much. A couple of chairs, a bed that comes out of the wall, and a mattress that could pass itself off as a relief map of the High Sierras. Well, that's where I was the other night around 11 trying to catch some sleep. That's when my phone began making an impression. It turned out to be the Lion.
Hey, Regan, I'm glad I found your home. Are you alone?
What's the matter? Did you lose your voice?
Just a precaution. I got a hold of a good thing, and I don't want to lose it by indiscreet talk.
Well, then write me a letter.
We've just been hired. You start tonight.
It'll keep till morning.
Her name's Alice Lafarge. She can meet you at a bar called the Princess across the street from Pershing Square. Get going.
What's her trouble?
She'll tell you all about it when you get there.
Can't you tell me?
I haven't got the time right now, but there's nothing to it. I'd handle it myself if I didn't have a big deal on.
Flirting with widows in Pasadena, huh?
So I got a social engagement. It helps our business. Pays to be seen in high society.
And besides, the liquor's good.
You just get over to see the Lafarge dame. And give me a ring in the morning and let me know how you make out.
All right, lover.
Hey, Regan.
Huh?
What should I take to my Pasadena girlfriend? Flowers or candy?
You better take both. You're going to need all the help you can get. I threw on some clothes and I headed for town. My car found a parking lot off Olive, and I cut through Pershing Square to make it over to Hill. It was after midnight. A sailor was chasing a bow-legged Marine over the grass. He brought him down on about the 40-yard line. The Princess Bar showed up near the corner of 6th, a little place holding up 6 stories of granite. I went inside. A mustache was trying real hard on a piano. 200 pounds of bartender was moving a wet rag over the bar in slow motion. A girl was sitting on the far stool in a black purse with the initials ALF. Alice Lafarge. If you looked real hard, you could find her eyes. I gave up on her lips. I lowered myself onto the stool next to her. She looked tired, like a chorus girl on a Sunday morning.
Yes?
I'm Regan, international detective.
How do I know?
You will when you get the bill.
You're late, Mr. Regan.
Well, I didn't pick up any traffic tickets, if that's what you wanted.
Well, it doesn't matter. We have a few minutes yet.
What are we waiting for?
12:30. Can I buy you a drink, Mr. Regan?
You're calling it.
Bartender?
What'll it be, miss?
I'm not drinking. Serve the gentleman.
Scotch?
Bourbon and water.
Got some pretty tasty scotch, buddy.
Bourbon.
Just trying. I get a commission on the scotch.
All right, lady, now let's have it.
You live far from here, Mr. Regan?
About 20 minutes.
Well, you better run home and throw a change of clothes into a suitcase.
Out-of-town job?
No, but you'll need a change. Bring along a deck of cards and a thick book.
Anything else?
Call off any dates you may have. You're going to be out of circulation for the weekend. Here's an address at the hotel on North Figueroa. Get there as soon as you can.
You still haven't said anything. What's the job?
You'll find out when you get there.
I'll get tired of waiting. Come on, lady, let's open it up.
Hey, buddy, scotch. Hey, you leaving us, miss? Next one's free.
Thanks, anyway.
Okay.
I'll look beat at you and take that scotch with you.
Okay. Drink it myself. I still get the commission.
All right, now come on, sis. Let's have the rest of it.
I'm sorry, Mr. Regan. That's all I can tell you now. Just be at that address as soon as you can.
As she slid off the stool and moved for the front door, I caught a view of her in the mirror. There was nothing there to make a guy want an encore. Sandy hair, short, thin body that you could have slipped into a mailbox. Well, she threw the door shut behind her. A couple of seconds ticked by, and I moved out after her. I made the street just in time to see her climb into a cab and start up 6th. That's when I spotted the red Austin with an Illinois license. There was a Glen plaid sleeve sticking out of the left side, and that's all I got of the driver, except that he was doing a real bad tag job on the Lafarge girl. The North Figueroa address Alice Lafarge gave me turned out to be the Gladstone Hotel. A 2-layer pile of wood so old that the termites were getting indigested. A short guy with a shiny head was catching up on his reading in the lobby. He put down the seat catalog long enough to tell me that apartment 3B was upstairs in the back. A couple of knocks on the door, and Alice let me in. Sitting in the corner was a bush of gray hair and a white face. Turned out to be a man with a worried look, like an alligator in a handbag factory.
Shut the door, Alice.
Yes, Dad.
Thanks for coming, Regan.
I'll let you know later if you're welcome.
Take his things, Alice.
No, I'm going to hang on to him for a while.
Suit yourself, but your coat will get heavy in a few hours.
What says I'm going to stay that long?
Me? That's what you're hired for.
What else?
Well, that's the time to get to that. Let's get to know each other first.
You got a name?
I'm Bill Lafarge. Sort of fancy, but I like it.
Give me some more.
Not much more. Just an old joker with nothing left but a few years and a regular dud.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Regan, this isn't my real address. I just moved here.
Yeah, the rent's low.
That's not it. Bill Lafarge can handle more.
All right, you can skip the bank statement, mister.
Will you please try to be civil, Mr. Regan?
That's not what you hired me for.
It's okay, Alice. Can't say I blame him.
All right, then. Let's throw it in gear, huh?
Not much to your job, Regan. Just spend the weekend with me.
I've had better offers.
Yeah, I did too in my time. Well, that's the easy part of it.
You got something hard?
You stay awake the next 48 hours and keep looking at me.
Who's after you?
Nobody.
I figure different.
You could be wrong.
Shades down, lights out, red Austin on a tag job.
What do you mean?
Plaid suit moved out after you when you left the Princess.
You sure you was following Alice?
Like you said, I could be wrong.
Get one thing straight, Regan. I never hire anybody to protect me. Bill Lafarge handles things like that himself. You're here as a witness.
What for?
Just in case somebody wants some testifying as to how I spent this weekend. All right. Now throw off your coat. Let's play a little cards.
Why not?
Alice, open the window. It's getting a little hot in here.
All right, Dad.
Good girl. Gin money?
You're dealing.
How high do you want to play? 2 bits if you...
The shot came flying in from the alley and didn't stop until they caught Alice Lafarge. They blew her back into the room, and she did a full turn like a ballet dancer showing off. By the time her father and I got to her, it was all over. The old man straightened up and began mumbling something about Red Austin. I stepped for the phone. I put in a call to Sanducci at Homicide. He took down the story and promised to send out some company. And then I cradled the phone. That's when I knew I was alone with the girl. Old man Lafarge had hot-footed it out of the building like a super chief on a holiday weekend. Well, the boys from Homicide showed in a couple of minutes, and they had a few questions. I gave them what I had, and Sanducci tabled the rest until the next day. So I went home to relax. You know, the Lion could have made a good detective. He always finds me.
Regan, I'm not paying you to sit at home. Get your coat on and explain this.
What?
This newspaper story. There's a big lie in here about the Lafarge dame getting killed. Now, I know you wouldn't allow that to happen to one of our clients.
It was real hard, but I managed.
I give you a simple little job and you turn it into a murder. You getting a commission from Forest Lawn?
You got your hands full, too.
What do you mean?
Sanducci will be visiting you with a pocket full of questions.
I don't know nothing about a shooting. I was out in Pasadena all night playing a guitar, and I got a sore finger to prove it.
Now, you listen to me, Big Shot. You better start sniffing around and turn up a Red Austin with a plaid suit behind the wheel.
What else?
Get some information on Bill Lafarge, the girl's father.
Hey, what's that?
You know, I bet if we open it, we'll find out.
Well, I better get a move on. Just open the door a little bit, and I'll squeeze by.
Yeah.
Hello, Lieutenant. Nice to see you, Sanducci.
Where's he going? Get in line for Notre Dame tickets. Why did you take up knocking, Sanducci, huh?
New directive went through the department. Show a little more courtesy.
You don't wear it well.
I figure it's political. They're working on building up a gate for the next policeman's show.
Gotta put you on. You're worth a couple of laughs.
Yeah. I'll speak to the boys. How did you sleep last night, Regan?
Fine.
You shouldn't have. That murder should have given you nightmares.
There's always Ovaltine.
You know, some of the boys down at headquarters figure you know more about this shooting than you're saying.
Well, they made mistakes before.
No, I'm not saying. I feel like they do.
What do you want?
Who knocked off the Lafarge girl?
You're asking yourself.
Wrong answer.
How would you know?
She got it with a .45. What do you want?
You know what I own.
But I don't know about Lafarge.
The shot came in through the window. Even you can figure that.
It could have had help.
Talk to him.
I will when we pick him up. In the meantime, it's you and me.
You got nothing on me.
We found a roll of dough in a briefcase in the bottom bureau drawer. What was it doing there?
I don't know.
All right, Regan. Now let me give you a tip. The word's out Lafarge got a private war on. I don't want any more shooting, so I look at it this way. He's your client. I'm holding you responsible. And Regan.
Yeah?
Da devo essere mangiato i soldi a tutto il paese, che sei un brigadiere stupido.
What's that mean?
Go find out. You're a detective.
Well, I don't suppose I'll ever find out. He slid out of the room, and I washed up and had a short breakfast at the corner drugstore and went through the morning paper. The Lafarge murder rated a lot of big type, and it was a picture of Alice right next to the weather report, slightly cooler. After the bottom showed my coffee cup, I went over to the Hollywood Library. The city directory gave William Lafarge an Orange Drive home address and occupation printer. The yellow phone book turned up a Lafarge Preston print shop on Santa Monica near La Brea. It was a small place, the color of stale peanut butter, and it was tucked in between a pet store and a beauty parlor. When I stepped inside the front door, the bell rang, and a couple of pair of tortoise shell glasses covering a couple of deep blue eyes looked at me. She was a brunette with light skin and a voice that sounded like it was diving for sponges. The print shop smell got lost in all that taboo.
Morning, sir. Can I help you?
I'm looking for Mr. Lafarge.
There's no Mr. Lafarge here.
Sign outside says there is.
It's an old one. Won't either one say it?
Now, that's another chapter.
Come turn the page. I think you'd enjoy it.
You know, you ought to put out cards.
Mr. Preston says business has picked up immeasurably since I started working here.
Let's get back to Lafarge.
I told you he's not here.
Well, try Preston for me.
He's very busy.
They can spare a couple of words.
Now, wait a minute.
Look,
You can't go in there. I'm sorry, Mr. Preston. I told him you were very busy.
All right, Lois. Who are you?
My name's Regan. I'm with International Detective. I got some questions about your partner.
Of course. Please leave us, Lois.
See you later, soldier.
Cigar, Mr. Regan?
No, I won't be here that long.
And naturally, I'll be only too happy to tell you anything I can. It was such a shock reading about his poor daughter's death. A wonderful girl.
Lafarge said that.
Yeah, you'd say it, too, if you knew her. She was very good to him. Well, Mr. Regan, what specifically can I tell you?
The book calls this place Lafarge Preston. Somebody's missing.
Well, you see, Bill and I were in partnership for years. When he decided to pull out, I just planned to leave the name the same.
When did he go?
Just a few weeks ago.
They give a reason?
I don't know exactly. Implied he had enough money or was coming into some. I'm not sure. But it happened so sudden, left me a little short-handed. Still having trouble finding a first-class engraver to take his place.
I left him sitting there chewing a panatella, and I moved out fast like a sailor on shore leave. It was about 11 and getting warmer. I picked up my car and went home. It took me 10 minutes to track down Sanducci.
Yeah?
Regan.
What do you want me for? Fix a traffic ticket?
Look, I got something for you.
Make it good.
I've been talking with Preston down at the print shop.
Yeah?
Lafarge stepped out kind of fast carrying a roll.
Mm-hmm.
Now, look, he knew engraving. I figure you ought to take a good look at that money. It may turn up phony.
I'm not impressed.
All right, I gave it to you. Do what you want.
Look, we checked into the dough already. It's absolutely legit. Now give up, Regan.
Navy didn't.
Hello, Regan. Turn you down?
Who let you in?
Stranger in town. Just catching the sights.
Well, they're better outside.
Ease off, Regan. You don't know who you're talking to.
Well, the name's a blank, but you drive a red Austin.
Yeah, it's not bad for a beginner. You got a drink around?
Not for you, no.
If I were you, I'd show a little hospitality to an out-of-town boy.
Chicago. South Side, huh?
You're not being very nice.
You weren't invited.
But now that I'm here, that changes some things, huh?
What do you want?
A drink.
No sale.
Listen, fresh.
Get your hands off me, punk.
I'll go get 6. 45 always starts him.
Like it did Lafarge.
How about getting old Gus a drink, huh? Least thing it will do is skip the water. You better fix one for yourself.
No, you're the type that drinks alone.
Oh, you better have one, Regan. It's going to be your last.
How do you figure?
Well, I look at it this way. A guy like me gets hired to do a job. Comes 2,000 miles for it, then pulls a boner.
Like knocking off the daughter instead of Lafarge, huh?
Yeah, that's it. Top that off with a witness sitting in the same room who spots my red Austin. Now, let me ask you something. Can I leave him around breathing good air? According to me, nah.
Knees knocked together and he caved in like arches on a fat man. 4 quick steps took me to the door, and I looked down the hall. Nothing there. So I made it for the stairway, and I looked down the spiral. An old guy was sinking the steps 2 at a time and stuffing a gun into his overcoat pocket. It was Bill Lafarge.
You were listening to the story of the man who fought back. Tonight's adventure with Jeff Regan, Investigator. Commissions are still available in the Army Nurse Corps. Graduate registered nurses between the ages of 21 and 45 may qualify for service with this fine organization. Nurses may request active or inactive status. Those on active status enjoy the same privileges as regular Army officers. Those on inactive status may continue their civilian nursing duties, but stand ready to serve in time of emergency. If you are interested in joining the Army Nurse Corps and believe that you qualify for a commission, apply to the Adjutant General, Washington, D.C. And now, back to the story of the man who fought back and Jeff Regan, Investigator.
Well, things were moving kind of fast. The Lion sent me out to meet a girl named Alice Lafarge. She took me to her father, who wanted a bonded witness to be able to testify to his whereabouts that weekend. That's when a couple of shots came through the window and cut down the daughter. Before homicide put in an appearance, Bill Lafarge was gone, and he didn't show again until Gus killed Alice and then came to see me. And then there was a big roll of money and a print shop in the picture, but it was all out of focus. Well, I moved back into my apartment. The Chicago hood was still there, lying on my rug, and I picked up the phone to call Lieutenant Sanducci. I'd just gotten a couple of numbers out when I caught a familiar smell. It was a load of taboo, and it was packing a .32.
Put the phone down, Regan.
Why?
Because I'm asking you nicely. Put it down. Homicide can wait. Gus isn't going anyplace.
You got a plan, lady?
Mm-hmm.
Well, get back to that print shop and you'll stay out of trouble.
Mr. Preston's so nice. He gave me the afternoon off. I told him my mother got sick.
All right, lady. Tell me about it.
I'm looking for something.
Name it.
The ignition key to Gus's Austin. Now move over there and get it for me.
What's wrong with your car?
I ran out of gas. Move.
Okay.
Take his gun away. Now try the overcoat pockets. Throw him.
All right. Good catch.
So they tell me. So long, Regan.
I put in a quick call to homicide, and then I waited a couple of minutes to give her a chance to get a head start. When I stepped out of the building, the red Austin was just turning a corner. I followed in my car. We wound up in Glendale. She pulled into a duplex driveway next to an empty lot, and I pulled in under a pepper tree up the street a ways. And then she got out and unlocked the trunk. She looked inside, ripped up the floor matting and then the boards. When she slammed the trunk shut, it figured that she didn't find what she was looking for. Well, 25 minutes later, I found the Lion sitting behind his desk down at the office. He had a bottle of beer in one hand and a package of Sen-Sen in the other. Spread out in front of him was a typewritten piece of paper that he'd just slipped out of his running. He had a puzzled look, like a little boy caught in a mixmaster.
Regan, where you been?
Around.
I've been looking all over for you. Sanducci's been calling in every 3 minutes.
What's he want?
The story on how Gus got laid out in your apartment.
Well, I'll drop him a note.
He wants it now.
He's got time. He doesn't come up for a pension for years. They turned up Lafarge yet?
No, but I turned up something. What would you say if I told you Lafarge did time once?
On a counterfeit rap?
How'd you know?
It figured. That Lois dame is scratching around for something.
The feds put him away for 10 years for making up some phony bonds or stocks or something like that.
Uh-huh. How's his daughter fit?
She waited for him till he got out and then tried to help him play it straight.
What'd you get on Gus?
Who cares about him?
Lois.
Lafarge wasn't in on that bond job alone.
Who else?
He had a partner, the guy who runs the print shop, Preston.
Oh, you're doing better.
I figure it this way. Preston's got a new racket, and J. Edgar would be real happy to know all about it.
Yeah.
We're going to be the ones to tell him.
How much is the reward?
I don't even know if there is one.
Oh, stop it. When gold went up to $35 an ounce, you pulled your mother's teeth.
Regan, you're getting out of line.
And then you bawled her out for not having more cavities.
Now, you get over to Preston and have a talk with him.
Yeah.
Regan.
Yeah.
Remember, if we crack this thing, it'll mean more money in your pocket, too.
No room for it with your hand there already. I left him sitting there doodling dollar signs, and I went out into the street. It was turning evening. I picked my car out of the lot, and 30 minutes later, I stopped on the corner of Santa Monica and La Brea. The fog was rolling in by then, and the streetlights were trying real hard. I walked to the front door of the print shop. I shook it a little, but nothing gave, so I moved around to the back. The place inside was as dark as a saloon in Kansas, but somebody inside was handy with a gun. So I cracked the window with a rock, and I climbed inside. It smelled like target practice on a rifle range. Preston was curled up on the floor like a piece of wet tissue paper, and there were 2 holes in him. Well, the game wasn't over, but they were running out of players. I moved to the phone to call the police, and that's when I spotted Bill Lafarge. He was slumped down in a chair with a gun in his hand, and he looked tired. It took a lot of shaking to bring any words out of him. Hey, come on, Lafarge. Hey.
Not shaking. I'm up. He dead?
Yeah?
Yeah, he was a bum.
You want to give me that gun?
Sure. You got a call into the cops?
No, not yet.
We'll use my car.
Any way you want it.
It don't matter much no more. Things go easy for some guys. Other guys get all the rocks.
You got a couple of answers?
Why not? Preston did a tie-in with a gambling syndicate out of Las Vegas. Some joker had a hot idea.
Keep going.
Counterfeit 20,000 New Year's Day bowl tickets and sell them on the open market at $5 plus.
That's big business at $100,000.
But I didn't take. Preston gets sore because I wouldn't do the engraving and he got somebody else.
That doesn't add up to murder.
Yeah. Did when his head got working overtime worry and I had too many answers.
And he hired that Chicago boy with the bad eyes.
Yeah. He got my daughter by mistake.
Where are the bowl tickets?
Who cares?
How does Lois fit?
I don't know.
All right.
Front door is closer to my car. You drive, Regan. The way traffic makes me nervous.
Well, Lafarge was driving a Nash, and it was parked at a filling station. We fought the night traffic downtown to police headquarters and tore Sanducci away from his pinochle game. He sent a couple of boys out to clean up the print shop and then moved Lafarge into a room with a secretary to get the story on paper. I'd heard it before, so I started for home, but Sanducci had other ideas. He put me in a private little room with white walls, and he told me to wait. I thought maybe he'd gone on his vacation, but he finally came in.
Yeah, getting tired of waiting, Regan?
Do you care?
No.
You got something to say?
Maybe.
Well, then spit it out, because I got a date.
It'll keep.
Why are you holding it?
I had to do some checking.
You got all you need?
I didn't think so.
Well, you got it now.
Get still, Regan. I'm not ready to let you go.
Now, listen, Power. Just because you're wearing a badge inside that coat...
Shut up and listen to me. It took me 18 years to turn in those overstuffed shoes for thin soles. I'm not letting a two-bit detective tell me how to handle my business.
You could stand it.
You and that crummy boss of yours are licensed by the state of California, and we can lift it for acts detrimental to public welfare. We got a whole bladder full.
Tell that to the lion.
I'm telling it to you. Now, that's all. Beat it.
Okay.
Oh, Regan.
Yeah?
One thing more. There's a big hole in Lafarge's story.
What do you mean?
Look at his gun.
Well, what about it?
Look at the caliber.
It's a .38.
That's not the weapon that killed Gus and Preston. You sure you don't own a .32?
Well, Lafarge was more used up than he figured. He couldn't tell where the dream left off and the murders began. Oh, the whole thing was a screwy picture, but the artist had a woman's touch. 25 minutes later, I pulled my car to a stop in front of a lemon-colored duplex out in Glendale. A high school boy, breathing hard, told me that the good-looking girl lived upstairs. I just hit the top of the landing when the door of her apartment opened and a couple of pieces of airplane luggage moved out. Her ticket didn't show, but it figured to be marked for Las Vegas. When Lois saw me, she looked kind of confused, like a penguin in Death Valley.
Regan.
Hey, your memory's good.
I wish you'd told me you were coming. I'd have dressed for it.
Oh, it's better this way. You're fixed for traveling.
What do you mean?
We'll talk about it inside, huh?
I'd like to. You know that, but I have a few things...
Come on, move it, lady.
Well, what's come over you?
What's inside the suitcase?
You can work that out yourself, Regan. You've been by a woman's shop.
Throw it open.
It'll embarrass you.
I'll take a chance. All right, now dump it over. Come on, sis. Your time's running out. Oh, yeah, sure.
Preston had the tickets in an asbestos box hidden in the furnace. I finally turned them up. Regan, they're worth over $100,000.
Yeah, that's what Lafarge said.
I know where to unload them.
It won't do you any good.
What do you mean?
There's no PX at the hatchet. Come on, don't scramble for that 32. It's out of reach.
Let go of me.
You threw those holes into Gus and Preston, figuring homicide would stick Lafarge with a rap, knowing he was out for revenge.
Let me go.
Even the old guy didn't know what was going on.
No, he didn't.
No, but ballistics did.
Regan.
Yeah.
This could mean a lot of dough to us, you and me. We form a partnership.
Yeah, before it's getting damp.
Don't be a piker. Here's your chance to really turn into something.
Well, now you can check with me when you get out, lady, to see if I made it. Well, it all blew apart fast like an atom at Caltech. Sanducci came down and picked up Lois. She had herself a pretty good thing for a while. Preston could run off the phony bowl tickets, and all she had to do was to sell them. Even though murder got thrown in, she could have stayed clean if she hadn't got her gun calibers mixed. Well, Lafarge was walking the streets in a couple of hours, and the Lion was real happy the way things worked out. He got his picture in the Police Gazette and picked up 2 bona fide passes to the Rose Bowl game. He promised to take me to the game with him. He did. He let me have the ticket at the regular price.
Butterfield as Anthony J. Lyon. It's CBS at the same time next week for more hard-boiled action and mystery with Jeff Regan, Investigator. Written by Larry Roman, produced by Sterling Tracy. Alice was played by Lorette Bilbrandt. Charles Steele was Preston. Ken Christie was Lafarge. Jack Petruzzi was Sanducci. Yvonne Tatey was Lois. And Sidney Miller was Gus. 29,000 nurses are needed now to join the new Army Nurse Corps Officers Reserve. For the first time in history, qualified nurses have the opportunity of receiving commissions in the regular Army Reserve. These nurses will remain on inactive status, ready to serve their country in time of emergency. 4,000 of them, if they wish, may choose active duty. All nurses who receive commissions will benefit from the opportunity for specialized training offered to them by the Army. Inactive reserve status will not interfere with the nurse's civilian life, but the educational opportunities offered her by the Army Medical Department will be of great advantage in her work. So don't wait. If you're a registered graduate nurse between the ages of 21 and 45, drop a card for complete information to the Adjutant General, Washington, D.C. Original music for this program is by Milton Charles. Bob Stevenson speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Chesterfield brings you Dragnet.
Put a smile in your smoking.
Buy Chesterfield. Smoother, cooler, best for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to Internal Affairs Division. A man who claims he's a policeman has been accepting bribes in your city. Evidence points to the fact that he is an officer. Your job? Check it out.
Stop! Start smoking with a smile with Chesterfield. Smoother, cooler, milder, Chesterfield. Put a smile in your smoking, just give them a try. Chesterfield's best for you. They satisfy.
When you shop, stop. Remember, vacation time is carton time. The cigarette to take with you is Chesterfield, made the modern way, with Accuray. Take along a couple of cartons and put a smile in your smoking. Chesterfield, smoother, cooler, best for you. Remember, in the whole wide world, no cigarette satisfies like Chesterfield.
Put a smile in your smoking, just give them a try. Chesterfield's best for you. They satisfy.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Monday, April 18th. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of Internal Affairs Division. My partner is Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Fulton. My name's Friday. I was on my way into the office, and it was 7:58 a.m. when I got to room 36, squad room. Good morning.
Hi.
We keeping you up?
Huh?
There's a couch down the hall. Maybe you can use that.
Yeah. Remember a couple of months ago, Faye was on that quiz show?
Yeah. Yeah, seems I heard something about that.
Well, one of the prizes was a dog. You know, they were going to give us a little pup.
Mm-hmm.
Turned out they were giving away cockers. They're nice dogs, thoroughbreds.
Mm-hmm.
Faye and me talked it over and decided we'd rather have one of those basset hounds.
What are they?
One of those dogs with the little short hind legs and long ears. You know, long face, basset hounds.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I see them in the magazines. You know, they got sad eyes, always look so sad.
Yeah.
Well, they're hard to get. We had to wait a while. I got the call Saturday. Pup was there.
Mm-hmm.
I went out and picked him up.
Mm-hmm. Named him Hector.
Yeah, that's it, Hector.
Why?
Why? Well, because the old expression kind of fit.
Mm-hmm.
Since Hector was a pup. Get it, Joe? Hector, see, still a pup. Old Hector the pup. I was up with him all night. Mm-hmm. He couldn't sleep. Kept whining.
Mm-hmm. You still work here, don't you?
I just stayed up and kind of hummed to him to comfort him.
You still working here?
Oh.
Anything come in this morning?
Yeah, there's a couple of mugshots over there from Sacramento.
Thank you.
Sure be glad to get to bed tonight.
Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am. Something we can do for you?
Man down room 38, Bunko, told me to come here.
Yes, ma'am.
DeBetta, that's his name, said see you.
Mm-hmm.
Want to report something.
All right, would you like to sit down?
Thank you.
Now, what can we do for you?
I think it's been too long.
What's that?
Well, I paid for it over a month ago. I'm tired of waiting.
You want to tell us about what you mean?
Well, Henry should be home by now. It's been over a month.
Who's Henry?
My husband, Henry Farwell. When I gave the man the money, he said he'd get Henry out of jail right away. That's what he told me.
What man?
The man who came to see me.
Oh, yes, ma'am, but who was he?
A policeman.
8:12 a.m. We continued to talk to the woman. She identified herself as Mrs. Henry Farwell, and she gave us the full story.
When did this man approach you, ma'am?
Just a minute, Mr. Smith. I got it all written down.
Ma'am?
Got it right here in my bag. Yep, here it is. March 6th. That's when I met him.
Where was that?
What?
Where'd you meet him?
He come to the house, my house. Told me he wanted to talk to me about something. Said it was important.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know him. There wasn't any reason he'd have anything important to talk to me about. But he said he knew the mister.
You mean your husband?
That's right, Henry Farwell.
Is he in prison?
Yes. Been there for 3.5 years.
We don't like to ask this, Miss Farwell, but it's necessary.
Burglary. That's what he was convicted for. Judge told him he'd go to jail for 5 years to life.
Mm-hmm.
Was this the first time he's been in jail?
I thought so. First, I thought it was all a mistake. They was wrong about the mister.
Yes, ma'am.
They weren't. Came out in the trial. Seems he'd done the same thing before, twice before.
I see.
I didn't know about it when we got married. Didn't have any idea.
Mm-hmm.
The mister's my second husband.
Mm-hmm.
First one died 10 years ago. Woman my age gets lonely. So when Mr. Farwell asked me to marry him, I said yes. Then I found out about the stealing.
Mm-hmm. Miss Mann said he knew your husband, is that right?
That's right. Told me they met several years ago.
Uh-huh.
Then he went on to tell me how the mister could get out.
Well, what do you mean?
The way he told it, if you had friends who knew the right people, you could get out of jail.
What's that?
If the right people were paid, a man could get out of prison.
Uh-huh. And he wanted you to give him some money?
Not at first. When he came to the house at the beginning, he didn't even mention it, not at all.
When did he bring it up?
Oh, about a week later. Came over in the afternoon. I was out in the yard, and he said he'd met the people who were important, the ones who could get the mister out of prison.
Did he say who these people were?
No, just told me he'd met them.
Mm-hmm. Now, what happened then?
Well, on March 14th, he told me that it could be arranged for the mister to get out of jail.
Tell me, did he tell you how this could be done?
Well, from what he told me, he'd talk to the right people. That's the way he said it, the right people.
I see.
If he gave him $5,000, the mister could be turned out.
5,000, huh?
Yes. I told him I couldn't give him that much, that I just didn't have it.
What'd the man say when you told him that?
Asked me how much I could give him.
Mm-hmm.
I said if I sold a few things, did what I could to get more money, I might be able to pay $3,500.
Well, what'd he say about that? Say it'd be all right?
No. He told me he'd have to go back and talk to the people. Ask them if it'd be enough.
When'd you see him again?
2 days. He came back.
What'd he say then?
Told me it'd be okay. The money'd be enough.
Mm-hmm.
I got it together and gave it to him.
That same day?
No, it was 2 days later, on March 16th. That's when I gave him the money.
I see.
Well, it's been over a month now, and the mister still hasn't been turned out. I wrote to him, but he doesn't say anything about coming home. I don't think he knows anything about it.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I don't want to cause any trouble. Just want the mister out of prison, or else I want my money back.
You told us this man was a policeman?
That's right.
In what city?
I don't understand.
Well, what city did he work in, or what city did he say he worked in?
Here, in Los Angeles, right here.
Did he show you some identification?
Oh, yes. I wouldn't just hand over the money without that. I saw his badge.
Mm-hmm. Does it look like this one?
Let me see. Yeah. Just like that one. Same thing.
Mm-hmm. Did he give you a name?
Yes. He said he was Jim Sorvell. Sergeant Jim Sorvell.
That's Sorvell?
That's right.
I'll check it.
Did you see anything else to identify him?
What do you mean?
Well, did he show you any other cards, anything else?
You mean it might be a wrong name?
That's right.
Oh, no, I'm sure about that. I wouldn't just hand my money over to anybody. I was sure.
Well, how do you mean?
I saw his driver's license.
Did he tell you where he worked?
You mean in what department?
That's right.
Yes. It's one of the reasons I believed him, because of where he worked.
Yeah.
Right here in the city hall.
While I continued to talk to Mrs. Farwell, Frank put in a call to personnel. 3 minutes later, he called me out into the hall.
Let me close the door.
What do you got?
Well, I checked the personnel records.
Yeah, what'd you find out?
Looks like she was telling the truth.
What?
There is a Jim Sorvell.
City Hall?
Well, closer than that.
Huh?
Auto theft detail.
We put in a call to auto theft detail and asked that Sergeant James Sorvell see us right away. While the victim waited in the squad room, Frank and I took the officer down to the interrogation room.
Go ahead, sit down, Jim.
Yeah. Thanks. Well, what's this all about?
Well, it's a rough one, Jim. We hope you got the answers.
Well, give me a try.
How long you been a policeman?
12 years.
How long you been working auto theft, Jim?
2 years this time. I worked there before, about 5 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Well, what's this all about, anyway?
You know a woman named Farwell?
Farwell? Mm-hmm. No, I don't think I do.
How about a man, Henry Farwell?
No, I don't think so. No, wait a minute.
Hmm?
A few years ago when I was working burglary, seems we had a suspect with that name.
Yeah.
Big guy. Fallen twice before, the way I remember. Bad name around town.
Might be the same one.
What about him? I heard he went to the joint a couple of years ago.
Well, his wife came in here this morning.
Yeah.
Says she gave a man $3,500 to get Farwell out of jail.
Lawyer?
No. Some kind of a deal. This fella said he knew the right people. Told her a little juice would open the doors for her old man.
How do I fit into this?
Well, this guy told her he was a policeman. Showed her ID to prove it.
What name?
Yours.
You believe her?
Well, no, we don't want to. We figured we'd get your side of the story first.
Well, there's nothing to tell you, Friday. I had no part in the action. That's the truth.
I hope it stands up.
It's got to. I don't know anything about the deal. Nothing at all. I wouldn't know the woman if she walked in here right now.
Well, then you don't mind letting her take a look at you, then?
No. Bring her in.
Right?
Yeah.
How'd she happen to pick me?
Told us the fellow that took her gave your name.
Must be a goof up someplace.
Mm-hmm. You got your driver's license?
Yeah.
Want to show it him?
Sure. Next line is, take it out of your wallet, isn't it?
I don't like this any better than you do, Jim.
Yeah. Here.
You got your badge on you?
Yeah. You want that, too?
Well, I want to see it.
All right.
Ms. Farwell says the suspect showed her a badge. Says it looked good.
I don't think it was mine.
Oh.
Here.
I want to step inside, Miss Farwell.
Yes, thank you.
All right, Miss Farwell, you know this man?
Yeah? Seems I've seen him someplace before. Yes.
Now be careful and look carefully. Do you know where you've seen him?
I'm trying to think.
Take your time, be sure.
Yes, ma'am. Please be sure.
Yeah, hair's a little shorter. Had a mustache before. But I can tell. I can tell for sure.
What's that?
He's the one that took my money.
Mrs. Farwell was taken down the hall where she made a complete report. We continued to interrogate Sergeant James Servell, but he maintained his innocence. He was suspended from the police department pending an investigation by our detail and the district attorney's office. A week went by. During that time, we talked to Servell's friends and the men he worked with. His financial condition was investigated. He owed some money, but he was not behind in his payments. His bank account didn't show any large deposits, and from what we could find out, he was not living beyond his means. If he was guilty, he hadn't spent any of the money that he'd taken. We asked the stats office to make a run on con men who had used a similar approach. They came back with a list of 18 possible suspects. We pulled the mug shots from the packages on the men, and we drove out to see Mrs. Farwell. She showed us into the living room of a very small house.
Now then, what is it this time? You come to bring my money back?
No, ma'am.
Well, when am I going to get it? Seems like a long time. The mister's still in prison, and I haven't got my money.
Yes, ma'am.
We'd like you to look at some pictures, if you would.
What for?
We'd like to see if you recognize any of the men.
Sure, I got nothing else to do. Let's see 'em.
There you are, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. All right. Now, looked at the pictures. Now I get the money.
No, ma'am.
When do I get it?
Well, we haven't been able to recover it yet.
What?
We haven't found it yet.
What about that man you got, Sorvell? What about him?
Ma'am?
Make him tell you where the money is. He took it. Make him tell.
From what we've been able to find out, he hasn't got it.
Now we get down to cases, huh?
What's that?
Let's lay the cards on the table. I'm getting pretty mad about it. When I first came to see you, I wanted the money back. Either that or to have the mister out of prison. Either one. It didn't much matter which, but I did want one of them.
Yes, ma'am, we understand.
Now, you've got the man who took the $3,500. Got him in jail. And you tell me you can't find the money. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am, that's right.
You want to know what I think? You want to know?
What's that?
I think you're all in it together. That's what I think. The whole bunch of you, all in the thing together.
That's not true.
You say so, but I think different. Now, I'm going to tell you something, Mr. Friday. I'm not going to wait any more. I want the money back, or I'm going to the newspapers again. I'll tell them what's happened. They'll get me some action.
Now, just a minute, Miss Farwell.
No, I won't. I've done all my waiting already. You think that just because I'm an old woman, you can push me around. Well, you just got another thing coming. I want that money, and I want it right now, and if I don't get it, you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
We're doing everything we can to get your money
Well, then
back.
you better start doing more, because I'm not happy at all. All you cops, you stick together. Well, this time, it's not going to do you any good.
You don't understand, Miss Farwell.
I think I do, maybe too much. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'll give you just 3 days to get that money back, or I'll scream my head off to the newspapers. You've got the man in jail. Next thing, you'll be telling me he didn't do it.
We're not sure he did.
Uh-huh. Well, he did. I guess I know. I'm the one he stole from. He's the man, and I want to see him in prison, too.
Well, if he's guilty, that's where he'll go.
I'm telling you he is. What more do you need?
Just one more thing.
What's that?
Proof. Frank and I went back to the office and met with Captain Fulton. We laid out the results of our investigation. According to what the victim had told us, we had the right man in custody. But according to the evidence we'd found, it was a case of mistaken identity. 2 days later, on Thursday, April 28th, we got a call from a bartender out on Vermont Avenue. Frank and I drove out to see him.
Hi.
I'd like to see Vince Elkhart.
I'm him. What do you want?
Police officers. It's Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Oh, yeah? Want to come back here? We can talk.
Yeah, fine. All right, what do you want to see us about?
I know I'm letting myself in for a lot of trouble. Anything you guys can do to help me out, I'd appreciate it. But I ain't asking for no special treatment.
Well, now, suppose you tell us what it is.
Well, night before last, a couple of kids came in. They sat at the bar, ordered a drink.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they looked kind of young, so I asked to see their ID. Playing it safe, you know.
Go ahead.
Well, they showed me their driver's licenses. I checked them. Looked all right to me, so I served them.
Yeah?
Guess it made them kind of embarrassed. They only had one and then shoved off.
Mm-hmm.
They was no sooner out of the place when this guy came up. Told me he wanted to talk.
What about?
Said the 2 kids were underage, minors. That I'd served them and the beef was on.
Well, who was he?
That's why I called you. Maybe I was wrong serving the kids. Maybe I did make a mistake, but I sure ain't going to stand for no shakedown. Not a penny's worth.
This man tried it, did he?
Sure. Told me if I paid off, he'd forget what he saw.
Well, who is he?
Cop. Name of Jim Servell.
a smile in your smoking. Next time you buy cigarettes, stop. Remember this. It's today's biggest cigarette news.
Chesterfield is made the modern way with Accuray.
The Accuray controller is the greatest improvement in cigarette making in years, and it's a Chesterfield exclusive. This amazing quality detective electronically checks and controls the making of your Chesterfield, giving a uniformity and smoking quality never possible before. So buy Chesterfield today. For the first time, you get a perfect smoke column from end to end.
A perfect smoke column from end to end.
From the first puff to the last puff, your Chesterfield smokes smoother. From the first puff to the last puff, your Chesterfield smokes cooler.
From the first puff to the last puff, Chesterfield is best for you.
Next time you buy cigarettes, stop. Remember,
Chesterfield is made the modern way with Accuray.
Put a smile in your smoking, just give them a try. Light up a Chesterfield, they satisfy.
We got a description of the man who tried to blackmail Vince Elkhart. It matched Sergeant Jim Sorvell. While I continued to talk to Elkhart, Frank put in a call to the policeman and asked him to come over to the bar. It took him 12 minutes to get there. He was brought into the place and confronted by the bartender.
Would you turn around?
Sure.
How's that? Uh-huh. Yeah.
How about it?
Isn't any doubt as far as I'm concerned.
No.
He's the wrong man.
We made arrangements for Vince Elkhart, the bartender, to come down to the city hall and go through the mug books. He was unable to find a picture of the suspect. We contacted CII up in Sacramento and asked them to check their files. Thursday, 5:30 p.m., we returned to the bar.
No. Come right down to it, I guess I should have known he wasn't a cop. Should have known it all along.
Have you seen this fellow before?
I'm not sure about that. Seems like I might have, but I can't be sure.
Mm-hmm.
We do a pretty good business in here. A lot of people. He might have been around, but I can't name a date or time.
Mm. Was he with anybody the night he was in here, do you remember?
I don't remember. Matter of fact, I don't even remember him coming in. Just all of a sudden, after the kids left, he was at the bar, tossing me the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Really saddened me to think a cop would pull a stunt like that.
What'd you tell him when he asked you for the payoff?
Said for him to get out of the place. That if he was going to make a pinch, to go ahead and do it, or else clear out.
Did he leave?
Yeah. Said I didn't give him any choice. Walked out.
Hello. Yeah, that's right. Just a minute. Hey, Vince.
Yeah?
Catch the phone, will you?
Yeah. Excuse me.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Sure, go ahead.
Hello? Yeah, that's right. Who? Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Yeah. No, I understand. Uh-huh. Well, it's nice of him. Sure, I thought about it. Okay. Yeah. Goodbye. You guys must live right.
Hmm?
That was him.
The phony cop?
Yeah. He'll be right over.
Frank and I took up positions in the back of the bar. 20 minutes later, the suspect walked in.
Hi, Elkhart. Hello. Want to give me a Coke High?
Sure.
Looks like him. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's sure been cold lately, huh?
Yeah.
Not doing much business.
Slow night. Here's your drink.
Thanks. Where can we talk?
It's all right here.
And what about the two guys in the back?
They won't bother anybody. Both gassed.
All right, Elkhart, what about it?
You mean the payoff?
That's right. I talked to the boys downtown. They say they'll let you off the hook for $750.
That's a lot of money.
Your license is worth more, isn't it?
I suppose so. But I got to know what I'm buying. Who are these guys downtown?
Well, that doesn't come into it. All you got to do is dig up the money.
How high does the juice go?
What do you mean?
Just that. How far up does the payoff go?
All the way to the top.
We got enough. Right.
Yes, sir. You play along with us, and you'll do all right.
This is him.
All right, mister, let's go.
What are you talking about? What is this?
Police officers, you're under arrest.
For what?
Suspicion grand theft, impersonating an officer, and we ought to be able to figure up a couple more on the way downtown.
Oh, hey, you guys are wrong. You made a mistake.
Sure we have. Stand still.
I
Nice clean.
You're going to be awful sorry about this.
Is that right?
Sure, I got a lot of friends in town. Some of them pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
You mind giving me your names and numbers? I want to be sure I got the right dope on you guys. Time I get through, you'll both be working so far out, you'll need a passport to get home.
Mm-hmm. Got it all figured, haven't you?
Front, back, and in the middle.
Yeah.
Like reading a story.
Well, I don't know about the first part.
Yeah.
But I can tell you how it's going to end. The suspect was taken down to the city hall. He refused to give us his name, and a thorough search of his person failed to turn up anything to aid in identifying him. His fingerprints were rolled, and while we waited for the results of the check, Frank and I talked to the suspect in the squad room.
How long you figure you're going to be able to keep this thing up?
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, come off it. We've got you dead to rights, and you know it.
News to me.
Why don't you tell us who you are?
I forgot.
You know a man named Jim Sorvell?
I don't think so.
Well, according to that bartender, you said you were Sorvell.
Oh, he's got a big mouth.
Look, have you ever been arrested?
I forgot.
You better get your memory back.
Why?
Okay. ID, Smith. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Wait a minute. Toss me that pad, would you?
Here.
Thanks. All right. 46? Yeah. Yeah. Right. 52, huh? Okay. All right, thanks a lot. You better get in touch with those big friends of yours.
I will when it's necessary.
Well, time just came up. We got your record.
Hmm?
Full name, Charles Bobo Kiernan Offner. You've fallen twice in California, once for GTA, once for attempted robbery. There's an outstanding one from Eureka and 2 from out of state, all 3 uncharged of extortion. Shall I read the rest of it?
How about it?
You don't have to. I'm in the box.
Where's the badge and the driver's license?
My place.
Where's that?
Hotel over on Grand.
Where'd you get the badge?
Bought it. Guy I know. It's one of the old ones. Mark doesn't know the difference.
Yeah. How about the license?
Made that up myself.
Why'd you pick Sorvell?
Looked like a good dodge. A cop who's going to cause trouble.
Why him?
Tagged a cleaning store out in Highland Park one night. Must be the place where the Sorvell does business. Clerk thought I was him. We got to talking. Things just worked out.
What about the prison deal? How'd you build that for yourself?
Well, I know a guy up at Q. He buddies up with a prisoner, gets all the information, and kites a letter out to me, and I pull the swindle.
How many times you worked the deal?
Collected 3. The last one was an old woman.
What'd you take?
$3,500.
Just you and the guy up in the joints, that all there is?
Yeah.
You willing to make a statement?
Sure.
All right, we'll call a stenographer.
Look, can you tell me something?
What's that?
The 2 out-of-state beefs, you think they'll extradite me?
We don't call it. Why?
I'd rather do my time here in California. It's nicer here.
Yeah.
Prettier. Lots of nice scenery in California. It's different.
Well, I wouldn't worry.
Hmm?
You won't see much of it.
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On July 28th, trial was held in Department 96, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. Chesterfield, made the modern way with Accuray. I wonder if you realize what that means to you. For the first time, you get a perfect smoke column in your cigarette. A smoother smoke. A cooler smoke than you've ever had before. To put a smile on your smoking, try 'em. Chesterfield.
Charles Kiernan Offner was tried and convicted on grand theft money, 3 counts, and received sentence as prescribed by law. Grand theft money is punishable by imprisonment for a period of not less than 1, nor more than 10 years in the state penitentiary. Sergeant James Sorvell was reinstated in his duties with full back pay. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Frazier. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Helen Klebe, Than Wyan, Herb Ellis, Jack Crucian. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
Watch an entirely different Dragnet case history each week on your local NBC television station. Please check your newspapers for the day and time. Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
This is it, L&M Filters. It stands out from all the rest.
Miracle Tip, much more flavor. L&M's got everything.
It's the best.
Yes, L&M's got everything. Superior taste, superior tobaccos, superior filter. It's the Miracle Tip, pure and white. Buy L&M, America's best filter tip cigarette. Hear Dragnet next week, same time, same station.
This is the NBC Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to burglary detail. A woman posing as a housemaid has been stealing cash and other valuables from homes in your city. Your job? Stop her.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, October 11th. It was cloudy in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of burglary detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Bernard. My name's Frank. We were on our way back from lunch, and it was 1:17 p.m. when we got to room 45. Burglary.
Hey, Smith.
Huh?
Your wife called while you're out. Wants you to call her back.
Oh, thanks. That's funny. Sounded like Faye to call in the middle of the day.
Well,
kids are all right when I left this morning. Wonder what she wants.
Why don't you call her and find out?
You're not married, Joe. You don't understand. Sometimes a guy wants a minute to think things over. Sort of prepare himself if he's done something he shouldn't.
Mm-hmm. Well, have you?
How about what?
Done something you shouldn't?
Of course not.
Then be my guest.
Okay, thanks.
And I'll dial 9 for you, too.
That's mighty nice. Funny, I know the kids are all right.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, honey. Yeah, Anna just told me. Oh, we're out to lunch. Why? Something wrong? Oh. I wonder what happened. I see. Does she know who? She reported? Why not? All right. Well, what'd you tell her? I guess we could. Yeah. Sure. This afternoon, I guess. Yeah, Joseph. Oh, it'll be about 7:30, I guess. All right, honey, thanks for telling me. If anything comes up, I'll call you. Yeah, bye. Nice old lady like that.
What's that?
I don't think you ever met her, Joe. Her name's Mrs. Vesper.
No, it doesn't sound familiar.
She used to live next door to us when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Known me since, ever since I can remember.
Yeah.
She's alone now. Faye calls her up every once in a while, see if she's all right.
Mm-hmm.
Called her this morning.
Yeah.
Mrs. Vesper says she had some money stolen, some jewelry. Happened yesterday.
Didn't she report it?
Faye doesn't seem to think so. Wants me to talk to her.
All right, let's go. Well?
Joe.
Yeah?
You got to promise me something. You got to give me your word right here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to kid me afterwards about the way she treats me.
Miss Vesper?
Yeah. I told you she's known me all my life.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes she acts like I'm still a little boy.
Mm.
You know how it is.
Sure.
So you won't rib me, huh?
No.
About anything at all?
Well, what do you get, man?
Well, she doesn't think I ought to be on the force for one thing. I might as well tell you about it. If I don't, she will.
Yeah.
She always claims I should have taken up something else.
Like what?
Oh, you know the crazy ideas people get, especially about kids.
Mm.
Well, Miss Vesper thinks Well, see, when I was a lot younger, real young, 10 or 12, I used to sort of memorize things, little pieces and poems.
With what?
Memorize things, poems and little pieces, and I'd go next door and and recite them for her.
Yeah. You say she's known you all her life?
Yeah, practically, I guess.
Well, it'll be true if we don't get out there.
Well, she got a real kick out of them poems, and I wasn't much good, but she was prejudiced because she liked me, you know.
Mm-hmm. Want to go?
Yeah, but I just want to explain this. That she thinks I should have kept at it. Made it my career.
Reciting poems?
No, not exactly reciting, Joe. I didn't just recite them.
You wrote them, too.
Yeah.
Frank and I left the office and drove out to the home of Mrs. Sarah Vesper. She lived in a small bungalow on Las Palmas Street in the Miracle Mile district. It was 2:07 p.m. when we got there.
Why, for goodness sake, Frank Smith, where on earth did you come from?
Afternoon, Miss Vesper.
Mrs. Vesper? What's gotten into you, Frank? You've never called me that before in your whole life.
Well, I meant Aunt Sarah.
Well, now that's more like it. Who's this you got here with you?
Aunt Sarah, this is my partner, Sergeant Friday.
Oh, pleased to meet you.
I do, ma'am.
You work for Frank, do you, young man?
Aunt Sarah, we work together.
Oh, you don't say. Well, I expect that keeps you from getting lonesome, don't it?
Yes, ma'am.
My goodness, now don't just stand there. Come on inside, both of you.
Thank you very much.
Well, sir, this isn't the darndest coincidence.
Ma'am?
You're coming to visit me today. Oh, sit right down. Sit right down.
After you, boss.
Thanks.
Believe it or not, I was talking to your wife only this morning. Then the next thing I know, here you are.
Yes, ma'am. Faye told me.
Oh, my stars.
What's the matter, Aunt Sarah?
Oh, I just remembered. That's why you're here, ain't it? On account of what I said to Faye.
Yeah, sir.
I should never have mentioned it to her. I don't know what's the matter with me. I must be losing my mind or something. I just keep forgetting that you're a policeman.
Oh.
Well, you oughtn't to have been one in the first place. Now, if you'd just taken my advice.
Aunt Sarah.
Oh, now, don't misunderstand me, please. I'm not criticizing the police. Well, we certainly couldn't get along without them, and I'd be the first to say so. But some people have a talent for one thing, and some people are talented in a different direction. Isn't that right, Mr. Friday?
Yes, ma'am.
You take Frank here. He had a real talent for making up verses, even when he was just a little tyke. I bet you didn't know that, did you?
Well, I heard a little something about it.
A real talent, that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Why, I remember some of his poems to my dying day. They rhymed and everything.
Is that right?
Say, Aunt Sarah, would you tell us about...
That one about the rainbow. That was one of his very best. Did he ever do it for you, Mr. Friday?
No, I don't think he did.
Oh, it gave you such a beautiful picture. Just like an artist had painted it, only with words. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm not sure I do.
Go ahead, Frank. Say it for Mr. Friday.
Oh, please, Aunt Sarah.
Now I know he'd like to hear it, wouldn't you, Mr. Friday?
I sure would.
All right, Frank. The one about the rainbow.
I don't remember it, Aunt Sarah.
Oh, now you're just being modest.
Yes, you are, Frank.
Joe. No, really, I don't, Aunt Sarah. I don't remember. Not a word, honest.
Seems funny you'd forget a thing like that. I mean, when you made it up yourself.
Well, it's been a long time.
Hasn't been any longer for you than it has for me, and I can still remember it, just as clear as the first time I heard it.
What?
Rainbow, rainbow, up so high. That's how it begun, Mr. Friday.
Mm-hmm. Love to hear it, Frank.
Rainbow, rainbow, up so high, blue and red and yellow and brown, like an arch across the sky. Won't you ever tumble down? Where did it go from there, Frank? The next verse, what was it?
I'm sorry, Aunt Sarah, but we haven't got much time.
Oh, well, anyway, that gives you an idea of Frank's talent.
Yes, ma'am, it sure does.
Oh, come on. Aunt Sarah, would you just tell us about the things that were stolen from you?
Miss Vesper.
Oh, well, I suppose I should have got in touch with the police.
Yes, ma'am, you should have.
Well, I didn't see where that would help matters none. Just like closing the barn door after the horse had been stolen, and besides, I didn't want to hurt Barbara's feelings.
Barbara?
My niece.
Oh, I see.
You remember Barbara, Frank?
Hmm?
Oh, sure. You played out in the backyard with her the whole summer she was visiting me. Kind of a scrawny girl.
Oh.
Of course, she's filled out now. You just wouldn't recognize her. Has 2 children of her own. Nice home out in Westwood.
Yes, ma'am.
What's your niece got to do with all this, Miss Vesper?
Oh, she's the one who sent her.
Ma'am?
The cleaning woman.
Well, did you know your niece was sending this woman over?
No. I guess it was supposed to be kind of a surprise.
Oh?
Anyway, she just come up to the door yesterday morning, long about 9:30, announced that she was ready to go to work.
I see.
First, I didn't know what she was getting at. Then she explained about Barbara hiring her to give me a hand. Of course, I don't need nobody. Little place like this, no trouble at all.
Yes, ma'am.
But I didn't want to hurt Barbara's feelings, so I told her to come on in. Figured maybe she could help out some of the heavy work, turning the mattresses and moving furniture.
Sure. What was the woman's name, Aunt Sarah?
Margaret. That's what she told me, Margaret.
Do you know her last name?
No, don't think she even mentioned it.
All right, what happened next?
Well, we did the cleaning. Not that she was much of a housekeeper. Practically had to go over the whole place after she left.
About how long did she stay, you remember?
Half day. That's what she said Barbara hired her for. Must have been about, 10 after 1 when she went. Didn't even give me a full 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Insisted on my fixing her some lunch, too. I tell you, that woman sure had her share of gall, eating my sandwiches at the same time she was robbing me. Wonder she didn't ask for car fare.
Mm-hmm. Well, just what was it she stole?
My cash money. Cleaned out every pocketbook in the dresser. Found the bills I had hid under the dresser scarf, too.
Yes, ma'am. How soon did you find out that these things were gone?
A little while after she left, when I went to straighten up the mess she'd made.
And you still haven't talked to your niece about all this?
I told you I didn't want to get her all upset.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose she will think it's funny I haven't called to thank her.
I wonder if you'd mind calling her now.
You mean right now?
Yes, ma'am.
And do I have to?
Well, we'd like to get this cleaning woman's name and address.
You don't have to say why you're calling, Aunt Sarah.
Oh, she's bound to know something's wrong. Barbara's no fool.
Well, if you won't talk to her, we will. We can find out where she lives.
Guess I was wrong about you, Frank Smith.
Ma'am?
Guess you're turning into a policeman after all. Like looking a gift horse in the teeth, that's what it is. Barbara's going to think I don't appreciate all she's done for me. You wait there. I'll be right back.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, go ahead and say it. Go on, get it over with. Ride me about the poem. I saw you smirking. I'd rather you did that than just sit there with that silly smirk on your face. I suppose you never made up any poems when you were a kid, huh?
Oh, I might have.
I'll bet.
Blue and red and brown, like an arch up in the sky. When will you tumble down? Is that it?
Oh, sure.
Of course, I wasn't a real talented poet.
Yeah. What are you staring at, then?
Oh, nothing at all.
Well, then stop it, will you?
No, I was just noticing you need a haircut, don't you?
Well, I'm going to get one this week.
You're not letting it grow long, then?
Why would I let... Jones will help me if we ever get out of here.
Just slipped out. I won't say another word, I promise.
Or look either, huh?
All right, I won't even look.
Good.
Well, now that isn't the strangest thing.
Did you get hold of your niece, Miss Vesper?
Oh, yes. I talked to her, but I don't understand it. Simply don't understand it.
What's that?
A cleaning woman.
What about her?
Barbara didn't have anything to do with it.
Oh?
She's never even heard of her.
Frank and I continued to talk to the victim. Mrs. Vesper told us that the suspect was WFA, about 40 years old, 5 feet 3 or 4, weighing approximately 140 pounds. Said she was wearing a house dress and a light gray coat. She also gave us a detailed description of the jewelry that had been stolen. Frank telephoned Mrs. Vesper's niece, and she said she was not acquainted with anyone who answered the suspect's description. 5:17 p.m. The crime lab reported they had found no physical evidence at the Vesper residence. 3 days later, October 14th, we received a theft report from a woman living near Wilshire and Western. The suspect had gained entrance by saying that a neighbor had sent her to clean. The description tallied with what we already had. During the next 2 weeks, 9 more thefts were reported. In each case, the suspect had used the same MO, and the description indicated that the crimes had all been the work of the same woman. Each of the thefts took place within a few blocks of Wilshire Boulevard, in the area between Vermont and Fairfax. In one instance, the suspect had been seen departing on the Wilshire bus. Police officers staked out buses and bus stops. Lists of the stolen property were sent to all pawn shops in the city. 2 women were brought in for questioning, but the victims were unable to give positive identification. Employment agencies for domestic workers were contacted.
Newspaper want ads were checked. No leads developed. Saturday, October 29th, 2:17 p.m. I get it. Burglary Friday. Who? Oh, yeah. Yeah, Corky. What's that? Yeah, thanks. If you can? Okay. Corky Levitt.
Yeah?
Woman's in his pawn shop trying to unload a diamond clip.
Oh?
Corky says it's on our list. We left the office and drove down to Corky Levitt's pawn shop on South Main. Over the phone, Corky had said he would stall the woman as long as he could. It was 2:28 p.m. when we got to his place. The woman was still there.
You make up your mind, Buster, give me some dough on the thing and hand it back. I'll take it someplace else.
Let's have a look at it, Corky.
Sure.
Hey, what is this?
Police officers.
Huh?
All right, let's go.
Take your hands off me or I'll
I
clap.
said let's go.
Thanks, Corky.
Sure, you bet.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I suppose you let me in on it. What's the beef?
We'll talk it over at the office, huh?
About what?
This clip.
You mean it's hot? Is that what you're getting at?
Why don't you tell us?
Well, wouldn't you know it? Lucky Rita. Sure walked into it this time, didn't I?
Looks like it.
You clowns have got your minds all made up. You think I stole that pin, don't you?
Somebody did. 2:42 p.m. We contacted Control 1 and notified them we were bringing in a female suspect. They took down our mileage and location and made a note of the time. 8 minutes later, we pulled into the city hall and we again checked with Control 1. While the suspect was being searched by a policewoman, we talked to one of the victims. The victim positively identified the diamond clip as belonging to her. 3:41 p.m. We interrogated the suspect in the squad room.
All right, sit down over there.
You want a cigarette?
Yeah.
All right, now suppose you tell us about it. Come on, Rita, let's get it over with.
What's there to tell? You guys know all the answers.
We know some of them. Your name's Rita Baines. You've fallen 3 times, forgery, grand theft, burglary. You made 2 trips to Tehachapi and 1 to Corona.
So you looked up my record. Big deal.
Now, let's talk about this diamond clip, huh?
Okay. Pretty, ain't it?
Where'd you get it, Rita?
Didn't I steal it? Isn't that why you brought me up here? It's a difference. You wouldn't believe me no matter what I told you.
Why don't you try the truth?
Okay. It was a gift.
Yeah?
Yeah. Lady gave it to me.
Who was she?
I don't know. Never saw her before in my life.
Sure.
I was riding the bus yesterday afternoon. She was sitting next to me.
Mm-hmm.
Had that pin on. Asked me if I liked it.
You bet.
I said, sure. She took it off, said I could have it.
Just handed it right over, just like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What'd she look like, Rita?
I don't know. 40, maybe 45. A little on the hefty side.
And you never seen her before?
First time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I was a little girl, my folks always told me not to take things from strangers.
Sure they did.
Yeah. Guess they were right.
All right, Rita, what do you do for a living?
Wait table.
Where?
Bar over on Pico.
You work days or nights?
Nights mostly. Don't open till 4 o'clock.
Have your mornings free then, huh?
Law against it?
Ever do any housework?
Straighten up my room once in a while.
Ever do housework for somebody else?
What do you mean?
Like a cleaning woman.
I ain't that hard up for a job, even with a record.
All right, let's talk about this pin some more.
You didn't believe me, did you?
Pretty hard to swallow, isn't it?
Yeah.
The lady it belongs to says worth over $100.
Pawnbroker didn't think so.
People don't go around giving away $100 clips now, do they? Where'd you get it?
Dame on the bus asked me if I liked it. I said yes, she gave it to me.
Yeah.
You guys don't mind if I stick to that story, do you? Seeing as how it's the truth?
Which bus were you riding?
Wilshire.
Where'd your friend get off?
She wasn't my
Where'd
friend.
she get off?
I don't know. I got off first.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it was somebody else telling you this, you might go along with it.
Yeah, sure we would.
But not me. Not Rita Baines. You cops give a gal a record, from then on she might as well be dead.
Sure.
Anytime there's trouble, pick her up. She probably did it. If she tells you different, she's probably lying.
You know, you got one thing wrong, Rita.
I ought to know. It's happened to me often enough. I'm the gal with the record.
Yeah, but we didn't give it to you. Frank and I continued to question the suspect, but she refused to change her story. 8:42 p.m. A special show-up was held for several of the burglary victims. None of them identified Rita Baines. 9:06 p.m. She was released from custody, and we went back to the office.
Well, if she didn't take that clip, she knows who did.
Maybe.
Yeah, stands to reason, Joe. Nobody's going to go to all the trouble of stealing this stuff and then give it away.
Burglary Friday. Yes, ma'am. What's that? I see. Mm-hmm.
Yes, we would. What's your address? All right, thank you very much. Just a few minutes. Goodbye. Well, here we go again.
Another burglary?
Mm-mm. Another piece of free jewelry. Frank and I drove out to an address on South Ridgely Drive. 9:32 p.m. We talked to Mrs. Lucy Heflin. She showed us a pearl choker that had been given to her by a woman she met at a bus stop earlier in the evening.
I didn't want to take it. I told her so, but she wouldn't listen.
Yes, ma'am.
And then afterwards, when I got home and thought about it, well, I started wondering if maybe there was some reason why she was so anxious to get rid of those pearls, so I called you.
Just where was it you saw this woman, Miss Heflin?
Corner of Wilshire and Barstow. That's where I was waiting for my bus. I take the Wilshire Express home.
Uh-huh.
She was on a local.
I see.
And when it pulled up, she got out. I guess she must have turned her ankle or something. Anyway, she dropped her pocketbook.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I helped her pick up her things, and that's when she gave me this choker.
I see.
Said she didn't have any use for it herself and for me to keep it. Tried to give it back, but she wouldn't wait.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to follow her, but just then my bus came along, and I knew there wouldn't be another one for maybe an hour.
Yes, ma'am.
They don't run very regular after 8 o'clock.
Yes.
Anyway, I figured I could always return the choker if that seemed like the best thing.
How were you going to do that, Miss Heflin? Do you know the woman?
Oh, no, but I watched her from the bus. We had to wait for the light to change.
Yeah.
Saw her go into a building, apartment house.
Oh?
I suppose that's where she lives.
Miss Heflin told us that the woman had entered an apartment house on Barstow Street, 2 doors from the Wilshire corner. We asked her to describe the suspect, and her description tallied with what we already had. 10:15 p.m. We drove over to the Barstow Avenue address and talked to the manager of the apartment. He told us that a woman answering the suspect's description lived on the second floor, apartment 7. He said that her name was Edna Landy. Frank and I went upstairs to talk to her.
Well, this must be it.
Somebody's coming.
Yeah.
Miss Landy?
Yes, sir.
Police officers.
Oh,
I'd like you to come downtown with us, Miss Landy.
all right. I'll get my coat.
Never mind, I'll get it for you.
It's in the closet over there.
Okay. I'll look around while I'm at it, Joe.
Yeah.
You won't find anything.
That's so?
I gave the last of it away just this evening.
Mm-hmm.
Lady I met at the bus stop. Gave the last piece to her.
I see.
She was very kind to me. Helped me when I dropped my purse. I'm glad I had something nice for her. Pearl choker, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Everything's clean, Joe.
Nice.
I said you wouldn't find anything.
Why'd you do it, Miss Landy? Why'd you steal those things?
Oh, I wasn't stealing.
Oh, you weren't, huh?
Of course not. I'm just teaching them a lesson.
Yeah.
They needed it. Needed it bad. Never trust anybody. Always say you're stealing from them.
Well, who are you talking about, Miss Landy?
People that hired me to work for them. Do their cleaning.
These people didn't hire you.
Yeah, they're all the same. Folks out here, back east, all the same.
Where's back east?
Chicago, Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter how much you do or how hard you try.
Ma'am?
Sooner or later, something's missing. They say you took it.
Mm-hmm.
Worked for them 10 years. Doesn't matter. Least little thing gets lost, they say you're a thief.
I see.
Made up my mind to show them. As long as they're going to blame me anyway, might as well do something to deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
Good lesson. That's what they need.
All right, let's go.
I'm an honest woman. I've always been honest.
Sure.
I never took that money from Mrs. Dresser. She was wrong to say I did. Never took nothing that didn't belong to me.
Until you came out here.
That's different. Even then, I wasn't taken for myself. I gave all the jewelry away. It wasn't for me.
Well, it was more than jewelry, Miss Landy. A lot of money missing, too.
No, I didn't keep it.
Oh?
I sent it off, every penny. Sent it to charity, different charities all over. I wouldn't keep something that wasn't mine.
I see.
Maybe next time they'll be a little more careful who they say is a thief.
Yes, ma'am.
It isn't right to accuse somebody when she hasn't done it just because you're the cleaning woman. That doesn't mean you're not honest.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I showed them. Showed them if I really wanted to be a crook, how easy it was.
Mm-hmm.
You mustn't think I was doing anything wrong.
No.
Just trying to make them understand, that's all. Cleaning woman's like everybody else. She's got feelings, too, and pride like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe now they'll see where they made their mistake.
Yeah.
Well, they better. I won't stand for being called a liar and a thief, not anymore. Folks better treat me a whole lot different from here on in.
Well, that's right, Miss Landy.
What?
They will.
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On December 14th, a hearing was held in Department 96, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that hearing. Edna Foster Landy was examined by 3 psychiatrists appointed by the court and was found to be mentally incompetent. She was committed to a state medical hospital for an indefinite period of treatment. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department.